All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again with another live stream. This time, a members calling. I think it's absolutely appropriate that the community, the members, they get an opportunity to have their say today. I think, it's nothing short of a crisis. Nothing short of a crisis off the back of that match against Liverpool, where we got absolutely pummeled, absolutely destroyed. We got put in our place. I mean, people say it was men versus boys. I don't even think it was men versus boys. I think it was men versus toddlers. But without further ado, let's get our members in straight away. Let's not waste any time. DAOF and Valan in the house. Valan, my man, how you doing?
Miss, it's been 14 hours since the game.
Mm.
And I am still awake and pissed off.
Oh my days. It's we got bamboozled, Valan, man. We got
Miss, if we
got
had
ripped
this
up.
call, much right after the game, oh my god, I think I would have got a new copyright strike. You would have been the amount
My
of
channel would have disappeared.
yeah, the amount of amount of French that would be coming out from my mouth. Oh my god.
So disappointed, man. So disappointed. DOF, my brother. How you doing, bro? It's been a while.
Yeah, hi Miss. I've it's been a while. Been catching up with a lot of commitments and all that. But of
Big
course,
up
I've not.
DLF.
Yeah, bro. I've not been missing the matches, but it's just been tough to join because of
Yeah.
commitments and all that. Yeah, been on the road.
No, absolutely, man. Life comes first, of course.
Mm-hmm.
What do we even? You don't understand, lads. I'm so deflated, man. Do you know Eunice just put out a tweet a moment ago. I didn't even realize this, and it
Yep, the
broke
last
me even.
seasons and these seasons.
Like, it
Yeah.
literally broke me even more. It honestly just, as if we all needed to be broken up into pieces even further. This time last season, same points, identical situation. This time last season, same points, same position, 10th. And obviously this season, same position, 10th, same points. Valan, bro, like this is the. I mean, when the owners are gonna wake up and go, do you know what? What we do?
You know what broke me, Miss?
Talk to
The
me,
fact
bro.
that after we lost 4-1 at Anfield, the next post that our club posted was what? Kids. Limited edition kids.
Oh my god, it's so awesome.
Read the room.
Yeah, read the.
And we have people that are becoming like Arsenal fans who are saying, "Oh, let's trust the process. Oh, let's who are we gonna get now as the next manager?"
Valan,
It's
fans
been
are
it's been
still insulting me.
it,
Fans think I'm the problem.
don't worry, Miss. I've been called false prophet in the live chats.
Wow.
Yeah, because why? I am just being a realist. I've seen Chelsea play. I roughly understand how the opposition sets themselves out. Or you know why I didn't send you any tactical lineup against Liverpool? Because there was no need to. Because we would have lost.
Yeah. There's no explanation needed. There's no tactical explanation needed.
The one thing that it still baffles me till this moment. It's been 7 months and Pochettino still leaves Caicedo isolated. I mean, look, 7 months in, how can you still let that blatant obvious mistake be lingering in the club?
Well, for me, the football we see is a reflection of the state of affairs with the club. One, we have misplaced priorities. Because what do I mean by misplaced priorities? So first, we have the wrong set of people at the board level. I'm talking about Stewart and Winstanley to start with. Now, what have they been asked to do? Because again, the best thing I can explain how we are being run as a club right now is allowing Breuer to leave on loan, a dry loan, without replacing or having intentions to replace. Who does that? We're
And on top
struggling.
of that, DOF, the replacement that we apparently have lined up is an injured John Duran, who barely plays
Exactly.
for Aston Villa.
Exactly. So how do you explain all of these things? It doesn't add up, to be honest. It just doesn't add up from the top to the bottom. I have never been carried away since Poch started. You guys can call me a negative person because I wasn't expecting too
Nah,
much.
man, you ain't negative. You're a real one.
Exactly, bro. I have never been so even when we were on the run with Middlesbrough, Preston, and the likes and all that. Most of the victories were flimsy. The one that I can say stood out a bit was Middlesbrough, and that was because those ones were not even up to the game on that particular day.
Mm,
What
mm.
what, what position was Middlesbrough in again?
I think 14th,
In
same
the in
same as
the
Exactly,
in
us,
the
something like
second
that.
in the second
second
division,
division.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
second
So
division.
that's where our levels is.
Exactly. So, I mean, how do you explain all of these things? Poch is tactically bereft of ideas. He doesn't know what's going on.
You
We
know what's
saw.
going you know what's
Yeah,
going to
go for
happen
it.
in the cup final? Poch is gonna like say, oh, the players are riled up. We need the fan support. We're gonna go in there and we probably will draw the game 1-1, and then we lose on penalties.
Man, I'm exhausted. Like last night was again. It wasn't a shock, but it was just a confirmation of everything I'd always thought. We were. If you see some pictures of the midfield line. Should I? How would I put it? The midfield representation per time. Caicedo at some
Mm.
point was just the only one against 4 or 5 Liverpool players,
Yeah, it was
and
disgusting. It was
it
disgusting. There's a picture that's floating around on social media.
And
it was
that's not the
crazy.
first time. It's been like this for the whole season.
Mm, mm.
Exactly, exactly. And Eunice said something in his video yesterday. He said that Poch is meant to be a manager who presses from the front, right?
Yeah,
And then that's understandable. But pressing is not a system of play. It's part of play.
true,
Why?
true.
What do I mean? If you look at Liverpool, Liverpool pressed the living day out of us yesterday, but at the
Yep,
same time, they had systems in place.
of course.
Bradley, the right back, as against Trent yesterday. There were times that if he was a Chelsea player, he would have just spammed crosses into the box, but he didn't
Yep,
because
yep,
there was a system in place.
yep.
For us, we don't know. It's just sideways, backwards, and then vibes and inshallah, like you guys will say.
Oh, don't worry, DOF. They will blame the players. They won't blame the great mighty Pochettino.
And you know what, DOF? Just to add to that, let's not forget this Liverpool team that Klopp has now is also a revamped Liverpool team as well.
Oh no,
There's a lot of
Miss.
new players.
You need to realize this. Salah and Van Dijk after this season, they are, I think, 1 year left in their contracts.
They're probably going to move on.
Yeah, and Liverpool need to rebuild again.
Exactly. And
Man United is gonna need to rebuild as well.
this season, if you have a look, that midfield, McAllister's a new player. Gavenberch is a new player. They lost
Superstar.
quite a few players. They lost Henderson. They lost Fabinho. Um,
They brought
that
in
midfield
Endo.
is a new midfield. Yeah, they've got that Endo guy.
There's
Um,
Supersly.
Soboslai as well. Up front, Luis Diaz has only been around for. I don't think Luis Diaz has been around for that long as yet. I think he's only been around for about a season and a half so far, right?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
I think so.
No, it's definitely longer because he came in when Tuchel was still here, right?
Oh, maybe
Yeah,
he's
No,
the
been.
cup
he was
final.
immediate.
But I remember he came in a January, but not
Yes.
last January. Maybe the
So
January
it was
before.
the season before Tuchel and the new ownership met up.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, no problems about that. Um, Obviously, this game no Salah, uh, no. Well, Trent Alexander-Arnold started from the bench, but it still is somewhat of a revamped Liverpool team. But
100%.
but because they have such an elite manager, because their manager is so astute in planning as to what he wants to do in defense, what he wants to. If you have a look, DOF, Liverpool, it's not like they don't play somewhat of a risky football. They do. They play a high line. They do leave a bit of space in the back. But they are so confident with their players 1v1. Jurgen Klopp is all about I will ensure we play an attacking brand of football, and I will rely on the 1v1 characteristics of my players to pull me out of trouble basically. So I don't know what our plan is, man. Like when we play, but honestly, defense, midfield, attack, besides Petrovic, everyone looks pretty damn average, man.
Brother, you don't even need to talk about tactics, all right? You just look at the managers. If I'm a player, would I run through brick walls for Pochettino?
Mm.
No. Why would I run through brick walls for a fraud?
It takes someone who has the pedigree to be able to tell you something, and you would 100% believe. There's this saying that some people will tell you to jump. You won't think twice about it. The next thing you will ask is how tall or how high do you want me to jump? In Poch's case, the results or the facts don't speak for themselves. The fact that I'm going to listen to someone like a Jose Mourinho, a Pep Guardiola, a Klopp, a TT, and the likes is because they have a proven track record of being winners. So
Yeah.
this thing stems from first when Poch walked through that door. What kind of foundation has he set? Did he set the foundation to say everything is fine? We're just gonna have fun, quote and unquote fun. When I mean fun, we're just gonna give it our shot and then we see where that takes us. Now,
Mm.
it's a different thing to come in through the door, and the first day you're like, yes, guys, I know you guys can do it. Yes, we will do it together, and we're going to have to win these trophies. These are two different statements.
Mm.
Now, that way, you've set the tone as to what to expect. Now, having said that, coming back to proven track records, Poch made Messi look so terrible at PSG.
Oh, you saw the
Yeah.
tweet as well, right?
Exactly. He made
he
Messi
made
look
he made Messi look like Neil Maupay.
like exactly like Mbappe
Sheesh.
at PSG.
My
Now,
days.
Now, Pythagoras Boots, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that guy's page. He's an analyst on Twitter and all that.
Yeah, Fight Tigers.
Pythagoras Boots, yeah. He
Oh
said
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. I saw that. Yeah, yeah, Pythagoras. Yeah, yeah. He said, yeah, go on, bro. Yeah, I
He
saw that
said
tweet.
something in the line of, let's just even look at it together. Let's even leave Pythagoras Boots out of it. Since Spurs days, since he left for PSG and since he's back at Chelsea, I mean, can you really draw parallels? Can you? How do I explain this? Tottenham on one hand, PSG and Chelsea on another hand. Can you
Mm.
really say that is replicating what he did at Spurs? No,
No,
because
no.
at Spurs, it was a function of when you're starting something newly. Let's put it that way. It's
Mm.
new to everybody. At the time, Poch started pressing and pressing and pressing. It was pretty much a new discovery, quote and unquote, to the league. Now,
And that was prior to Klopp coming, right?
exactly was prior to club coming. It was pretty much a new thing. Just like when Conte introduced three at the back at Chelsea. We later got found out in the second season. Now, having said that, as a human being generally, evolution keeps you ahead of the game or keeps you on top and all of that. Now, it's okay to press. And I've said this on every member calling show that I have joined.
Mm.
Beyond pressing, I need you guys to go back to Spurs, PSG, if you had the chance to watch that league, and then now Chelsea. Beyond pressing, what can you say Poch's system of coaching is? Now, we know with Tuchel. Tuchel is defensively minded, just like Jose. And then, of course, Tuchel is a bit more balanced than maybe Jose in terms of he also pays attention to the midfield and, of course, maybe the attacking. Maybe not as much as being defensively solid and all that. Now, for Conte, we can say Conte is defensively solid, Italian job, right? The system is coming to play. When he started playing four at the back, it was a shock to almost everybody. Like, Conte has always played three. Now, when
Yeah.
Jose came in, we knew okay at that time it was more or less 4-3-3 or and the likes and all that. Now when Carlo came in, we knew Carlo for diamond formation, and then he makes tweaks during games and all of that. And all of that. There's a system in place. Now beyond a formation, we know Poch plays either 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. beyond the formation, what system can you say Poch plays? We can say for Pep, this is what he does. We can say for Klopp, this is what he does. What do we aside formation 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, and aside players pressing? What system?
But I'll tell you right now, nothing. I'll tell you straight up. I'm going to give you. I'm slowly starting to get mad and angry again, man. Honestly, all of this is making me so angry again.
All
Everything
right,
that
breathe,
you have
miss.
just said,
Breathe.
I am
Breathe.
so getting mad again,
Miss,
bro.
Miss, I'll just simplify what DOF says, alright? You know how many people are saying that, football has evolved past Mourinho?
Mm-hmm.
What has Pochettino done to show that he has evolved? He himself is just as primitive.
Bro,
100%.
look at our attackers for an instant. Tell me there is some level of pattern when we get into the final third. Tell me there is a particular way of opening up the opposition. There isn't. It's all about players just doing some individual stuff. Sterling is doing his own thing. Cole Palmer now is also starting to do his own thing because he can't rely on these brothers in and around him.
And this stems from the days of
Mudryk, I'm not
Southampton.
even sure whether he's a footballer at this point. Mudryk is just, I'm not,
No,
honestly.
Mudryk is the Ukrainian Hector Bellerin, man. He's going to start modeling soon.
But oh my
He's
god,
going to start he's going to start going vegetarian, and he's going to start planting trees. I don't know.
Madueke is another
crazy.
one. Like,
It's crazy.
All of these players, you know, at least in the pre-season, do you remember there were certain moments where Angelo Gabriel, when he was on the right side, quick little touches, one touch,
Exactly.
two touch, and
Those were moments of individual brilliance. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, you remember DOF and Valan in the pre-season, you could see that little one-touch passes. Nkunku would sometimes play as centre forward, one-touch passes, give and go. Like there was a pattern, there was an ideology, what we wanted to do. Now, I'm not, and that's just attack in midfield, lads. Why is most of the time in the build-up we don't see Enzo deep? We see Caicedo as the deepest, but he's like 10, 15 meters ahead of Thiago Silva and whoever else is the other
Because
CB.
Pochettino has not evolved. He's playing the same formation since his Southampton or Spurs days.
Southampton days, to be honest.
And people go around mocking Mourinho, saying that, football has gone past him. But what has Pochettino shown that he's on par with the changing times of football?
Nothing now,
bro.
Nothing
the only thing Pochettino has is he's younger. He's a younger manager. That's it.
Exactly.
In this age, he's no longer the young one.
No, with in comparison to all those names you mentioned, it's pretty much a bit younger and all that. Now, I just want to bring out something. Evolution doesn't mean you have to change your philosophy as a coach. It simply means you're adaptive and you're making it more relatable to the modern day demands. What do we mean? Mourinho till tomorrow, if he wants to park the bus, there's nothing you're going to do. If that's the strategy, it feels like he's going to win the game. That's what he's going to do. However, now, what does it mean when you have evolution? If you remember, Mourinho pretty much, I think it was at Chelsea that Mata, I think it was under him Mata got sold to United, if I remember clearly. Right? And then, when he got to United, Mata started playing for him.
Yeah.
Now, how do you explain that? The impression was that Mata wasn't dragging back or wasn't pulling back and all of that, or his work rate wasn't as high as Mourinho expected. But then again, what changed? Now, that is the tweak, that is the evolution that comes in. Till tomorrow, Ancelotti will play a diamond formation. But Ancelotti is one of the best in-game managers. How? And Ancelotti can be 2-0 down, 3-0 down, 1-0 down, and we still win the game because he reads the game better.
Yeah.
Now, Poch barely reads games better. The only game Poch has affected from a losing position was, I think, when we changed Palmer and Sterling. I can't remember who we played. I can't remember, to be honest. It was second half. I think Palmer moved to central.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. That was the only one in game. You're right.
That was the only one, and that was a personnel change, which I don't have my badges yet, which I can do. Even when you play video games, you can tweak players, for example. It's just common sense and logic. Now, evolution simply means that, for example, Why do players burn out under Conte after a while? Is systems are just one way straight and all of that. Now ask the same question to Pep and Klopp. Their systems are still the same. Klopp presses, Pep wants to retain possession and all of that. However, those coaches, over time, based on games they want to play, make tweaks where necessary. Yes, they overthink it sometimes, like Pep dropping Rodri against Chelsea in 2021. They overthink it sometimes, but I have to tell you that this is a coach who reads each game on an individual basis, despite having a philosophy. Bringing it back to yesterday's game, you are going to Anfield, a very, 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 very festive place to go to in the first place.
Mm.
You're going there, you should have a plan. Now, you can't play out from the back with players like Nunes, Jota, and who was the other guy? I forgot it. The front three they had
Diaz.
yesterday,
Diaz.
and Diaz, thank you. Those they will press the living day hell out of you.
And
Now,
DOF, it's not just the front line. Then right behind them,
exactly.
McAllister, Sabozlai, and
Soboslai and
Jones, I think, Curtis
yeah,
Jones.
Curtis Jones.
But
Exactly.
it's ultra. It's ultra. It's unbelievable pressing up front, and then just as unbelievable just behind.
Exactly. Don't forget, you want to play out from behind with a Disasi, with Thiago Silva is still the best, but of course we all know he's aging. With
Mm.
Silva, with Badiashile, whose confidence has been rock bottom since he returned, and who I've never believed in him 100%. All those, I think I agree with you. Well, you said that in your video as well. I've never been over the moon when it comes to Badiashile. I just felt like he was just a decent. Oh, sorry, decent is quite a big word. It was just a good player having a good time. To be honest, when he joined, I've never rated him so high the way people do. Anyway,
Mm.
coming back to yesterday, there should have been outlets. You can't play out from the back 90 minutes against Liverpool. It is even City, Man City, they won't do it. They will go long at some point. So you should have looked for outlets. You should have looked for a way out. Unfortunately, out of 90 minutes, I can say for 80 minutes, Chelsea were just on the back foot. Let's take out the referees, issues, and all of that. We were just on the back foot. So
DOF,
it's
DOF. Let me break it down for you. By the way, Anesh, I'm coming to you, bro. You don't you dare think that I don't notice what you're saying in the live
This is
chat.
the guy. This is the
Anesh,
guy that was
I
calling
am
me the false
coming
prophet.
for you very, very strongly, very soon. I'm just allowing DOF to have his voice. You better stay in the live chat, brother. You better
Cooking, man.
stay in the live chat, pinned in, because I am coming for you. You better have things to say when I reply back to some of your comments, man. You're
Let's
telling us
go.
we are waffling. You wait there, brother. You wait. Don't you dare go nowhere. You wait there. DOF, let me tell you something, right? You talk about you have to change things up. When you see the opposition pressing so crazily, so wildly, and they're so precise, so excellent in executing their press, right? You have to be able to, as you said, you got to find the outlet out wide, and then you've got to basically what Liverpool did was they've boxed us in our half, right? You have to shift that to their half and push your players forward. I think there was quite a few times where Pochettino was saying, push forward, because the line is too deep. You're just allowing them to just suffocate us. At this rate, we're just going to get pummeled. So you're right. Where was the instruction? What was this not talked about? Where was the in-game?
You yourself indicated that Pochettino was telling the players, but he himself couldn't implement it on the pitch.
I mean, was this not talked about
So how
before the
dumb
game?
is our manager, man?
It's mad. It's mad. Was this not talked about before the game? Okay, if this was for argument's sake not talked about, Pochettino didn't expect that. Let's just say it's so stupid if you didn't expect that. But let's say for argument's sake you didn't expect that. In game, when you are seeing that, would you not send out a message to keep a couple of the players? Guys, tell the back line. Look for outlets out wide. Let the wingers be out wide. Look for outlets out wide. Because they're high up. Let's push them back. And then once we have the ball in their half, let's push up. Let's push them back.
And let's not forget, man, this is a Premier League experienced manager who's going against Klopp at Anfield. So it's not the first time.
100%.
It's not. That's why I've put out several tweets asking. I mean, since September that the season started, what exactly do these guys do in training? If I remember, top coaches before now, Because, like I said, I've said it before, I've been a fan of more than 2 decades, and I can tell you categorically that you have opposition scouts, you have all of those things. You guys watch videos, you analyze, you do all of these things. Even without doing any analysis, Liverpool is a team with a system. They will press you, and then they have their system in play. They have those connections, 2, 3 players, they know their moves already. Those things have already been built. So let's assume that you want to base your judgment on previous experiences of, oh, this is how Liverpool used to play or always plays. What are you supposed to do as a coach? I'm going to go back again. I'm sorry, I'm going to make reference to TT. Again, that Madrid game. In fact, let's not go back to the Madrid. Let's go back to City 2021 final. I'm not going to talk about the league. The league one, we beat them thrice back to back. FA
Yeah.
Cup, that and all that. Now, let's
Yeah.
go back to that 2021 final. Compare that game, that City game, 2021 final, to the game we played with Southampton that we won 6-0. We were dominated. We dominated Southampton, but with City, we had to absorb and break, absorb and break,
We had to
absorb and
adapt.
break.
We had to
That
adapt. We had to adapt.
exactly, we had to adapt. That is what we're talking about. Is it that Poch doesn't? I mean,
His
does he
naivety.
not understand your position per time,
He's
or
naive.
does he? It exactly is naive. And one thing I think Tuchel also did, despite injuries, was that he knew his start, or rather, we could tell his starting 11 any day, anytime, barring maybe injuries, barring maybe rotation, barring whatever. We knew our starting 11. Now, how do you with Poch? Yes, injuries may have not helped as well, but even without injuries, or with injuries still, we don't have a proper starting 11. Today, Palmer is a false nine. Now, that should make us believe that Poch is probably reading the game, or is reading or anticipating the opposition. But have you ever thought about the fact that every game that Palmer has played as a false nine has
He's
ended
not
up
done
being
well. He's not done
has
well.
ended up being a terrible one.
Yeah.
So why do you keep doing the same thing over and over again? Of course, that's insanity, actually.
And just on that DOF, like some people will say, what else is he meant to do? Because Armando Broja is going to get sold or he's going to be sent on a loan. Well, here's the thing, right? Conor
Play
Gallagher has
David
been rumored.
Washington, man.
Yeah, well, on top of that, Conor Gallagher is rumored to leave as well, but he keeps playing Conor Gallagher, right?
100%.
I was under the understanding that I think for yesterday's game against Liverpool, I thought, don't worry about this false nine. Play Armando Broja. Now I don't know whether he's been instructed from top not to play him, because if that's the case, where's the instruction for Conor Gallagher? Well, why isn't
100%.
the board instructing him not to play Gallagher? Because the board's looking to sell Gallagher as well. So it can't be one thing for one person, another thing for another person, right? And I know I'm not advocating here and saying that Broja is some sort of a savior or anything like that. No, not at all. At least Broja is a striker. That's the thing. Broja is a striker. He's got attributes to be a striker. My thought process was, I said this in my preview to all the people that have watched my preview. I said, look, the way I picture this particular game to materialize is Liverpool is going to have a high line. They always have a high line. Forget about Anfield. They always have a high line. But in Anfield, they 100% will have a high line, right? They're going to have a high line. If you play with a false nine, essentially what Cole Palmer will do is going to drop into midfield, which makes
Exactly.
Liverpool's defenders' life a lot easier because they play a high line. They play a high line, and if the striker is dropping in, their work is perfect because they want to maintain that high line. If you play with a striker, at least the striker keeps the two defenders on
Busy.
their toes. They
Exactly.
keep the two defenders on their toes, and I know Broja probably has no chance against Van Dijk and Konate, but at least there is a thought process for Van Dijk and Konate that, okay, there is a striker in between us. We just better be on our toes. What that allows us is, one, you also have a target man. You can go long, and you tell Broja, brother, you need to try and win some duels here. You may not win that many, but at least put up an aggressive, scenario for those defenders. Then you allow the likes of Sterling, you allow the likes of Palmer to come into the game, being that inside channel. Do you know what I mean? And then you allow for a Chilwell or whoever else to go around.
100%. 100%.
I thought that we're going to soak in the pressure. We'll have And I had no issues with Conor Gallagher to start because I was picturing that in this game, off the ball, I probably need Conor Gallagher. They're going to push high up. They're going to try and pin us. If Conor Gallagher's off the ball work rate can allow us to win the ball and distribute it out as quickly as possible, that is actually going to be good to put balls in behind their defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the game plan wasn't that. The game plan was, I don't even know what the game plan was. And before we even get to that game plan, by the way, big up to Sherwin, my man. How you doing?
Big up, Sherwin.
Disgusted,
Big up,
man.
Sherman.
Disgusted.
Big up.
What in the world was that?
Absolutely disgusted, man. Let's talk about Anesh Ghosh here.
This guy is a troll. He was coming after me for no apparent reason.
No problem. We address trolls. We address trolls as long as they're being somewhat respectful. No problems. We address trolls because this creates a good conversation because we can't go in one-way traffic. Let's hear what everyone else has to say, and I think this will create a good opportunity for all of us to think in a different way. Anesh is saying, you lot don't talk about Mudryk, don't talk about Madueke, don't talk about Palmer, don't talk about Enzo, don't talk about Chilwell, don't talk about Badiashile. How they played yesterday, it's all Poch's fault. Anesh, I don't know how long you've been watching me, brother. I literally talk about Mudryk. I literally talk about Madueke. I've even said recently that Cole Palmer, he's starting to, even though I don't want to go all in on him because he's still one of our best players, but he's looked indifferent in few matches as well. But not because of him, but because of the way the structure has been put together for us to play. I've also talked about Enzo Fernandez on in depth. I've definitely talked about Chilwell and his lackings. Badiashile is someone I haven't rated since he started at Chelsea Football Club anyway.
100%.
So I'm not sure what you're talking about, brother. I've talked about these players in detail. But let me tell you something, Anesh. You've mentioned all of these players. Let me throw a question back at you. When so many players are underperforming, do you think it's just the players? Or do you think there is a wider issue here? People talk about individual mistakes. We are having individual mistakes almost every single game. I honestly, I can tell you every single game that we played this season, there has been an individual mistake on almost every game. Some games, multiple individual mistakes. Now, once again, I want to throw the question at you, Anish. Having so many individual mistakes so frequently, do you think it's just the players, or do you think there is a wider issue, a deep-lying issue here? Look, I've made it quite clear on this channel that Pochettino is not the only issue. He's definitely one of the big issues, but the bigger issues in this football club is the owners and their philosophy on how to run this football club with highly inexperienced players, young players, to flip them for profit and getting rid of academy players for pure profit. I said the owners need to change that vision. I've also said owners have hired a couple of Mickey Mouse as sporting directors who are running this particular football club as if they're running Brighton or Dortmund. I've said that. But we have to sit here and talk about on the field as well. And on the field, you have to talk about Maurizio Pochettino. This season, he's been with us for 7 months already, or close to 8 months. Tell me one facet of our game that you're proud of. Are you proud of the defense?
Goalkeeping.
Goalkeeping is the only thing.
Galadog.
Goalkeeping is literally the only thing you can be proud of, and that's got nothing to do with Poch training anyone. That's just the goalkeeper being a goalkeeper.
And that was because Sanchez got injured.
And that's because by
That's
chance
true.
Sanchez got injured. You didn't give Petrovic an opportunity. Petrovic by chance got an opportunity, right? Defense, there's no structure. We are so flimsy when it comes to set pieces. We are so flimsy when it comes to crosses. We are flimsy in losing the ball in critical positions in build-up. We lose in situations where we allow the opposition to get us into 6v4 situation or 5v3 situations. So that's defense. In midfield, what was the last game that you saw that where our midfield completely dominated and we controlled the match? Middlesbrough. That'll probably be your answer. There hasn't been any other game like that where our midfield actually dominated.
I would say the opening game against Liverpool.
That was probably the only other one. Yes. in attack. Tell me what type of patterns are you seeing in the final third? Besides that Middlesbrough game where the attack was ruthless, 6 out of 6 shots and it was in. But none of us, we were like, karma. Middlesbrough, we appreciate the performance. Let's see if we can build on that. And surely we have not. So how are you not looking at, and look at the in-game management as well. How can us fans sense danger? We can see, we can feel danger coming. How come our manager can't feel that?
We can also talk about Aston Villa as well, miss.
Yeah, of course. That's the game that I'm talking about recently. Where they were coming back in the last 20, 25 minutes. If it continued for any longer, they probably would have scored a goal, and we don't have a replay.
Yeah, but fans will be saying, "Oh, we only lost one game," but they've totally forgot about the Villa game.
Exactly.
Petrovic actually saved us in that game as well. If I
100%,
remember clearly,
100%.
Yeah, for
he
sure.
saved us. So
100%. Shervin, I'm going to come to you very soon. AJT, big up to you as well. I'm going to come to all of you guys. Let me just address Anesh. Well, how can you say that these players are underperforming? How many games you have seen these players played at top level in their career? Most of them don't even play 30 to 40 senior games. On what basis? Anesh, brother, let me tell you something.
Man thinks we are freaking Burnley, man. Oh my god.
Exactly. And Anesh, you're not going to get rid of these players. They're on long-term contracts. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry to inform you. It's going to be very difficult to get rid of another 10, 12 players and bring in another fresh new 10, 12 players for Pochettino. The question you need to ask yourself is, Anesh, how much do you believe in Pochettino? That's the question you need to ask. If you're sitting there and thinking, no, do you know what? I truly do, regardless of what is happening right now, I truly do think Pochettino is a high calibrated manager. He's a high quality profile manager, elite manager. And I believe if we bring in 2 or 3 fresh faces, experienced faces, then we can do. I don't believe that anymore. I used to think like that maybe Pochettino could do something with more experience. I just think that he's not capable of competing at this level against some of the best teams and best managers out there. I'm sorry. I think I think DOF has nailed it so far, and Valan as well. The ideology that Pochettino is putting out there for us it's also inundated. Like it's prehistoric. It's all about pressing. Who doesn't press these days? Every team presses. This is not unique to us. Pressing is a facet of the football game. It's not a new phenomenon.
exactly.
So anyway, Sherwin, talk to me, bro.
Yeah, so you do a really good job breaking this down, but I honestly have a very simple answer, in that if people don't see by now that Poch is not the answer, they can go support Burnley or whichever club that loses every single game. They can have a wonderful time doing that if that's what they're into. No judgment. Go and do whatever you have to. But if you want to support Chelsea, this is just not how we operate, right? And this man was breaking down, oh, how do you know these players are underperforming? I'll tell you how they're underperforming. We spent $1 billion on these players. Now, I understand that just because you spend $1 billion, that doesn't mean you're going to win the league. That doesn't mean you're going to finish top 4. But we expect better than that, right? Surely we can expect better than that when we spend $1 billion on players. And I get they're young players. I get this and that, the other thing. But you can't just list 12 players and then say, why are you blaming the manager? Well, what is the manager doing then? What is he? Is he improving the players in any way, shape, or form? Is he setting up the right tactics? Obviously, he's not setting up the right tactics. I can't even comprehend how anyone could see that lineup and say, yeah, Poch is doing a great job. Clearly, this is the way to beat Cole Palmer as a false line. I just don't understand how many times this manager needs to keep making the same mistake over and over and over and over again before he actually finds out he's making a mistake. How many times did he play Chilwell at a left wing instead of playing him at left wing back? And
let's not forget all of that. Yeah,
he didn't cover himself in glory today, but still, I'd rather see him play at left wing back or at a left back than see him as a left wing. Every other mistake he's made with Enzo, how many times did he play him out of position before he finally realized, you know what, maybe I should play him in his natural position? How many times is he going to play Cole Palmer as a false nine before he clocks this doesn't work? I mean, we figured this out 5 games ago.
Don't forget Levi Kowa, how often he's played left back.
For sure, you know for sure, absolutely. Like, I just don't get it. All the fans see it. They get it after 2 or 3 games that this happens. This man gets paid millions of dollars to sit there and coach the team, and he can't see it after 10 games, 20 games. I just get this guy out, man, please.
No, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. President Jafar, thank you so much for the super chat. I was so disgusted I didn't watch the second half. Brother, you did a good thing, bro. I'm telling you right now. Anesh, again, then Mourinho will be brilliant for us. Sit back, deep, anti-football again. We can't score with these football. What we playing, so we will score in Mourinho ball. Bring him back. I will be there. Brother, look, you're talking about anti-football. You think what we're doing right now is pro-football? you think what we're doing right now is pro football? Like this is how you picture Chelsea Football Club to play?
Oh my days.
Brother,
now you understand why I say it's a troll.
You need to respect this manager this is a legendary manager for us. You need to understand. Some of the football we played under Mourinho is probably Pochettino would beg to play like that. Please roll back the footage and see how he played.
This is the same guy that will say Ancelotti was outdated when he was at Everton.
Like as if Ancelotti is doing nothing at Real Madrid now.
Let me just chip this in to lend my voice to what Mies said. The football we played 2004, 2005 under Mourinho, the first part of the season. In fact, let me narrow it down to one match. The football we played against Barcelona that we won 4-2, that JT scored, Damien Delph, Arjen Robben, and the likes scored, and all that. If you guys still remember that match, that we won 4-2. If Poch is looking for a proper definition of pressing really high, he needs to go and watch that match. We were all over Barca in the first 30 minutes. I think we were 3-0 up, if I remember clearly. I think we're 3 or 2-0 up, if I remember clearly. So if it's about pressing, it should go back to Mourinho's time. That first season, the first half of the season was relentless. Since Poch joined Chelsea, the pressing or whatever hasn't been coordinated, let alone relentless. So we can't even say it's coordinated. We can't even say it's relentless. Gallagher is just everywhere, and the players are everywhere. Talking about players, like Miz also said, if you're having 5, 6, 7 players, just imagine you have an organization. You have your staff strength is 21. Out of 21, the 10 that are at the forefront, 7 of them are struggling. 8 of them are struggling. If you fire the first, let's say you fire the first staff, you fire the second staff. By the time it's getting to the third and fourth, if you're someone who's logical, if you're someone who really wants the best for the business, then you start thinking, is it that the approach to the staff is wrong? Is it that the person put in charge is not communicating or doing things properly? These are the things you look at. Of course, we all need Modric, and the likes are just coming up and all that. But look at someone like Chilwell is a Champions League winner, for crying out loud. Enzo is a World Cup winner, for crying out loud. Madueke and Co, yes, are young players, even at under 21 level. Palmer came from City. The standards have been... So what are we saying? What exactly are we saying?
Right, look, I'll tell you right now, DOF, and I'll go to AG Tech very soon. I'll tell you right now, DOF. If we actually spoke to the Chelsea owners right now, if any of us spoke to the Chelsea owners right now, I'm telling you, they'll be very disappointed. They would be very disappointed at the current state of Chelsea Football Club under Pochettino. They would be. Obviously, they're there to be blamed as well. No problems about that. But to answer what you just said, there's still enough talent there, man. The owners will be telling Pochettino that, please, enough with excuses. Yes, there has been injuries. I'm not saying there hasn't been, but you still have enough to have some level of competition.
So many teams have injuries. So many teams have players missing. I mean, Liverpool today, how many players do they have missing?
A lot. Trent didn't start. Robert,
no Salah, no nothing, no Endo.
No Endo, no Trent, no Robertson, no
Tsimikas,
no Salah. So what are we saying?
No Robertson and look, and Bradley comes in, and it's like they have not, like, there's no missing anyone in the right side. It's all clockwork because a manager that has drilled in the foundation and the philosophy deep into the roots of that football club. This is why I'm so upset with Poch, that he's come in, that he's not done the fundamentals. Like, brother, I'm not looking for tiki-taka football. I'm not even looking for exciting football. All I'm looking for, at least make us somewhat resolute. You've come in. I think the first thing the new manager should do when they come in is can I make this team difficult to beat? We are so fragile. You know how scared we were yesterday at Anfield? We pissed in our pants, man. I could tell these players got so scared. AGT, bro, what you got to say?
Yeah, brother. For the person who was commenting before saying what's the level of these players? Just compare yesterday Enzo against McAllister when they play for their national side for Argentina. Enzo is quite clearly the better player, but yesterday McAllister looks head and shoulders above Enzo and any of our midfielders. And it's because he's playing in a system that works, which we do not have at all. It's
Exactly.
been 7, 8 months. There is no system.
A lot of our players are suffering because of this AJT. It's not just Enzo. There's a lot of our players that are suffering because there is no system.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. Even with players like Mudryk, Madueke, give them instructions what to do. Like
Mudryk,
when
I feel like it's a bit of a special condition, man. Mudryk, I truly do think he's lacking. Even if you did give him a system, I feel like there are some fundamental footballing attributes that is deserting this brother. It's not even about now system or not. It's about basics, just being able to control the ball, being able to finish. Yesterday, we saw that opportunity for Malagusto. Mudryk does everything right. He makes a good run. Malagusto spots him, puts in the cross. But Mudryk just no composure. That has nothing to do with the system. That has his own fundamental issues. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, but that comes with lack of confidence because he isn't playing well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and
fair
to add
enough.
to that, I think I'm sorry to add to that, I think the environment also plays a role. Remember the days where I'm not saying Mudrik is a superstar or the savior. Yes, I understand that the IQ needs to improve or it needs to get better, but the environment you find yourself also helps you to step up. Remember the days we used to have Sean Wright Phillips, we had Damien Duff, we had Arjen Robben, we had so automatically when you get your chance, we had Joe Cole. Automatically when you get your chance, it's just on you to make sure you give in the 100% so that the next game you're starting. Even if you're not starting, you're being rested for a bigger match because you have to play. Now, in this case, with Mudrik or I don't even know what to call it, Mudrik or whoever. To be honest, I don't think that there's a healthy competition going on. It just feels like vibes. That's just what it feels like. If you know you're on your toes, you have a manager that is going to tell you, in fact, he's not scared to take you off after 10 minutes, like Mourinho used to do. You would step up. Robin stepped up. Sorry, Robin became, of course, was already a good player when he joined. Damien Duff stepped up as well, right? Phillips upped this game. Why did Robin leave? Injuries and all of that, of course. Then he went to Madrid and all that. Madrid, of course, we all know is Madrid. Madrid is Madrid. But what am I saying? The environment you also find yourself in determines the level through which you go up to. If you see it as a challenge, you will pick up. There's a fish. There's a fish. Whenever you guys have time, there's a fish called the koi fish, KOI. That fish grows according to the size of the environment it finds itself. If it finds itself in a bottle, it will maintain that size. If it finds itself in a pond, it will grow as big as that or as long as that. If it finds itself in an aquarium, the same thing. What am I trying to say?
Oh wow.
Mudrik surely has IQ issues when it comes to football because that pass from Gusto yesterday, at least should have been a shot on target. Let's not even say a goal, a shot on target at least. But because
Yeah.
of confidence, like you said, because of the IQ issues. Now, if there was an extra motivation to feel like, oh, if I can score this, I'm starting the next game. If I can score this, I'm already ahead of either Madueke or whoever will be playing on the wings. Then maybe there could have been an extra thought into executing what he would have wanted to do. But because he just wanted to, like, let's just give it a go, and that's it. And there is no accountability. Whether we like it or not, these players are not being held accountable. How do you know? Go back to what's behind the scenes of what goes on at Chelsea right now. You will know the accountability level is zero.
No,
You will
you're
just
right,
know
man.
it's zero.
You're right. I mean, and I guess what competition does he have? It's not elite level competition either. Look, look at for instance someone like Nkunku. As soon as he's come in twice now, he's come back from injury and he's featured and he's scored goals. Like this guy, we could see from a mile away, even when he was in Bundesliga as well. A lot of people try to compare him with Timo Werner, and I said, no, this is different. The Timo Werner, you could see when he was in Bundesliga, there was a lot of things that he got success from is due to space. There was a lot
Yeah,
of space in
all
behind. He ran in with
all his
Nkunku.
goals were very
Yeah,
all awareness goals were very similar, running in behind and scoring.
running in behind, everything was very similar. It had to do
Yeah,
with pace. Whereas with Nkunku, you could clearly see that there was a lot of technical ability as well. It's not just about running in behind. There was in close proximation. His technical ability in close sort of areas
and
was very good.
and let's not forget, Nkunku has the experience of playing a right wing back role, a centre mid role. He
Exactly.
has played multiple roles. He understands what is the necessity, where's the positioning he should be in, what the opposition is thinking. So he has the brains to back up his technical abilities as well.
100%. He wasn't just all about the goals. He produced a lot of assists as well for, I think, Paulson. So you could tell that this brother is different. There's something special about him. Then you see Cole Palmer. You could see in Manchester City, this guy's movement, this guy's footballing intelligence, his vision. You could see that there's a special player there. But did we all feel this way about, let's say, a Madueke? Let's say about a Mudryk? Let's say about a Nicholas Jackson? Let's say about whoever else that our owners have brought in and our board has brought in? Could we say that about these brothers? Some of these brothers, we didn't even know who they were. We didn't follow them wherever they were. We just backed it because we got excited. It's a new signing. We just thought that, gems. Since we found Azpilicueta, maybe we will find more Azpilicuetas like that in that level, like that type of transfer money. But in essence, we probably should have just looked at maybe one like that, and still should have kept on looking at quality in the likes of Nkunku, in the likes of Cole Palmer. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are players like, for example, while we going for? I'm just throwing an example. Don't have a go at me now. Why are we going for players like Madueke and Aston Villa going for players like Leon Bailey? Musa Diaby. Why is that the case?
Misplaced priorities, like I said at the start.
Why aren't Aston Villa going for Madueke? Why are we going after Mudryk when clearly, I mean, at the end of the day, he was looking to go to Arsenal? Why aren't we looking to get players like James Maddison, for instance?
Misplaced priorities again. Do you know who got linked with Jackson before we signed him? If you remember, Bournemouth. So look at the player.
Another great name from Chelsea Empire, by the way. Sorry to cut you off the earth. Another great name, Kudus. Mohamed Kudus. Why are we going for him?
Exactly.
Not? Did the fan base not ask about these sort of players?
I suppose the sporting directors, for some reason, figured that no, these are not the type of players we need.
But that's
I
crazy.
think it was either Kudus or Cole Palmer. It was
mad,
not
man.
the both of them. It was
these
either
guys are
Kudus
jokers.
or either Palmer.
It's absolutely mad, man. Regio Park, thanks so much for the super chat. We made fun of No Pool and they smacked us up. Fans must get real. We have lost elite status and Poch doesn't have the pedigree. Our experienced players like Sterling and Chilwell are our worst. Yeah, they were Chilwell. Wow, he was on a one-man mission to absolutely sabotage our football club yesterday. Constantine, big up to you, my brother, man. Welcome to the members call-in. Welcome to the Coin Gang. Welcome to the other side of the
Big
coin.
up, Constantine.
Big up, guys, man. Yeah, Miz, bro,
Constantine.
I've been watching you for a few thousand subscribers now. I've seen the growth of your channel, so I just want to give praise to you first of all, man. To see the growth is very very well deserved, man. You, Eunice, Matisse, definitely one of my go-to, people for Chelsea content, man. So just keep doing your thing, man, and keep the growth of the channel happening. I missed the last few minutes of the streams. I'm not sure what you guys were discussing.
So basically, basically we were talking about a lot of things, man. Constantly, we're just mad. We're just
Overall,
angry. We're just
outcome
angry.
is shit,
We're just
thanks to
angry.
the
So
sporting directors.
talking about sporting directors, talking about manager, talking about a whole heap of things. Brother, you talk about whatever you want to talk about. Get anything out of your chest, whatever's in your mind. It's a therapy.
Man, for me, I would say first and foremost, the post-match from Poch, I think, very disgraceful. That's just one thing on top of 100 things.
Oh
but the
my
one
God.
thing that
We're not even
really
touch
gets
base
to
on
me,
that. Yeah, we're not even touch base on that.
the one thing that
Brother,
gets to me the
you
most,
pay attention to the post match. I stopped caring
Man.
about what else he waffles about. now.
Shameless, bro. Shameless.
To be honest, I just only read excerpts from Twitter.
Yeah, same.
What these managers say. Since TT was sacked, I only read from Twitter what has
Yeah.
been said. To be honest,
that was going to be
But-
my point. From Poch, there's no accountability ever in his press conferences. How long has he been here now? He's been here for 7-8 months, maybe. There's never been any accountability. Thomas Tuchel, he used to always come out if we drew, if we lost. Tuchel would say, "Do you know what? I need to find solutions. Do you know what? It's my responsibility. The team didn't play well, that we didn't get the result." Poch, it's like just closes his eyes and then he's like, "Oh, it's, poor game. We go again next game." Like it's just so wishy-washy. There's never any accountability with Poch. There's never any, and that's not even how you grow a young team. If you have a young team, you need a manager that's going to rip into them, and that's how they'll develop. If the team feels pressure, but if there's no pressure coming from
Constantine, it's almost as if when he came off the after the press conference to say that, "Oh, this is just a one-off game. We'll go again." Liverpool, a one-off game. What do you think this was? Like a pre-season friendly in America?
Watch Klopp motivate the squad in the Carabao Cup final with this comment that he just said.
And the one-off game is definitely something you can't say because we literally have them in the final, so it's not a one-off game. If anything, this should be like a preparation to say, let's just see, let's see potentially how we do this game and then build on something for the next game. But we got absolutely smacked, so I'm not confident that we're going into the final. Nothing's going to change for us. We're probably going to lose against Aston Villa. We're probably going to draw against Wolves, and then they'll have Salah back, Trent back. So.
Bro, that's exactly what I wanted to say to you, Constantine. That don't even worry about the Carabao Cup final. That's miles away. we got a lot more danger coming before that. Like Wolves, if people think Wolves, it's a given 3 points at Stamford Bridge. But you don't understand, man. Like that team actually has a manager with some level of structure, some level
100%.
of
100%.
system.
Gary O'Neill, he's a good manager. When I see Wolves play, I see what they're trying to do. I see just a basic structure. I see basic tactics on just a basic level. I see players.
Bro, if anything, they play quite similar to Liverpool. They press, they run, they will make us take heavy breaths. I'm telling you, they just don't have the same quality up front.
If they smack us, do you guys think there's any chance the crowd could turn on them and then maybe we get Poch out? Maybe we can just in time for the final.
Nope.
I think he's definitely staying till the end of the season.
Yeah,
the crowd will turn though. I think at Stamford Bridge, if you're losing, the crowd will turn.
we need an Ajax-like turn for anything to take place. We can lose all the games now, and the owners will still keep that clown.
But see,
I don't
this
know,
is the
man,
thing.
because with Potter, they were saying we're gonna judge him over years, not over a couple of weeks. But then, as soon as the crowd turned, they just folded immediately. They were like, "Well, there goes Potter."
With Potter, it was a thing where since he was the first kind of appointment, there was kind of probably more pressure on them. Whereas Poch, they can't get it wrong twice in a row, and Saka managers, in the middle of the season twice in a row. So that's probably what's.
But I think the fans at Stamford Bridge, they do dictate terms. Like if they lose the plot, if they start booing everyone and booing the manager, booing the owners, ultimately owners, they will be forced to make a decision. Like you can't continue losing like this. Do you know what I mean? You're smacked up by Liverpool. If you lose against Wolves at home at Stamford Bridge, which is quite possible. It is very, very possible. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got the FA Cup replay against Aston Villa at their home ground. So I said it in the last few videos that things could go very, very pear-shaped over here over the next few fixtures. That's really going to define how our season is going to end up being, which look, already it's looking like another mid-table finish. But I just want to reiterate, and I see what people want to say about this. I do want to keep reiterating this, is that getting rid of Poch is just one part of this mess. it ain't going to change just by getting rid of Poch only. I think these Winston Lee and Lawrence Stewart, they are not the right people to run this show for Chelsea Football Club. Let's be honest. These guys actually thought they can sell Armando Broja for 50 million. They actually thought this. And now they can't even get him out for a loan. They thought they're going to get a 5 million loan fee, but Fulham aren't even willing to pay 5 million loan fee. They're thinking Armando Broja, had they been in Brighton or in Monaco, they would have shipped Armando Broja for 50 million. They think that Chelsea are like a selling club. Like, big clubs will come to Chelsea and buy these Mickey Mouse players. It's not work.
Everything what you're saying is exactly what's wrong with Chelsea, because you're saying about them, we're going to sell Armando Broja. They should be thinking, how can we improve our squad right now? They're thinking of selling Broja just to get some pure profit. Like, in terms of just in terms of deadline day, probably very difficult to improve our squad how it is. But even, I know someone like a Callum Wilson's like a 50-50, it's not probably the greatest signing, but even that, maybe get that over the line, because we literally have no striker.
At least it's experience, right?
Yeah.
At least it's experience.
And what emphasizes to me our fall off across everything else is when people say, oh, do you know what? It's okay because Nicholas Jackson, he's coming back. Come on. Like, you can't be relying on Nicholas Jackson to come back to help us up front. So
go on. I think I think those two are sporting directors, and the owners are still looking for a director of football.
Well, here's the thing, guys. I agree with you that all of them are a problem, and that if we want to get back to our winning ways, to being the Chelsea of old, we need to get rid of all of them. But the issue is, even though the sporting directors have had a very subpar performance, despite that, if we had a top manager, you can't tell me it would be 10th. We would be at least there and thereabouts, top 4, top 5, top 6. We'd at least have a chance.
You'll be in a European place.
Do you think our squad is good enough, though, even top 4 with a good manager?
Absolutely.
To be honest, me personally, I don't think
not top 4 necessarily. Not top 4 necessarily.
I think top 6. I think top 6. I think top 6, man. I think top 6.
Isn't that so embarrassing? Because we spent $1 billion and then we're saying, top 6 with a good manager.
Very embarrassing. Don't get it wrong. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is not acceptable. Like, either way, that's what I'm saying. Getting rid of the manager is probably half the trick. That will just get us to top 6, something respectable. Because I feel like another manager probably gets a little bit more out of the current squad, but it's still not going to be good enough.
Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel with what he had during a sanction period, we still managed to come third. Do you know what I mean? Like, we never felt this low.
And we went to 2 finals too.
And we went to 2 finals.
Even with Sarri, that was considered a bad season under Roman.
Exactly.
Because the times were different. The times were different. At those times, we had all the tools. We had the right people making the right decisions. We had Eden Hazard, one of the best players in the Premier League.
We were complaining about Marina Emanalo, right?
Yeah, people were complaining, Pedro and Willian aren't good enough.
Exactly.
Jorginho's
Can you believe it? Pedro Willian probably start for us. You know that now.
100%. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. For the standards that we had at the time, they were not good enough. And the reason why we're looking at it as, how did we ever say this, is because how far our standards have fallen, right? So it's not like if we had Pedro and Willian now, we'd be winning the league or anything, right? But of course, we would be better than where we are right now. And that's because of how badly these guys have performed in the last season or two, right? So I do agree. Yeah, 100%. I do agree that they have done a poor job and they need to be replaced. But to me, the most pressing issue is the manager, because the manager, if we have a top manager, he can at least get the best out of the players that we have right now. He can at least get them playing together. He can at least get them to do better.
But what's the best from someone like a Madueke or a Mudryk? What's the best from them? It's better
than this, bro. It's better than this. Whatever Mudryk is doing right now, you can't tell me that's the best he can do. Like, come on. You cannot tell me that he cannot shoot, he cannot pass, he cannot run. Like, surely, even if he's not that great, surely he can do better than this with the right manager, with the right system, with the right.
Issue is, if it was someone like Mudryk in isolation, probably a good manager can improve him. But when you have a squad full of kids that need improvement, you can't really focus on an individual to specifically improve them.
Sorry,
Then why were
Constantine. Now,
there?
let me
Then why
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. We keep saying this squad players need improvement, right? We keep saying they need improvement. Are you sure we have 10 players that actually need to improve?
100%.
That
I think everyone has to improve.
when I mean improve, of course, even a player like Thiago Silva sets standards for himself and wants to get better. Now, I'm looking at the word improvement literally, like just to get to a certain level. Are you sure that a manager, do we have up to 10 players that a new manager or even Poch needs to improve currently as we speak?
Yeah, I think what he means is that a lot of players have regressed. It's not that they haven't been developed. Like you can say some of the young players. Some of the young players
progress because Mudryk is exactly where he is when we signed him. Mudryk, it's been a year.
No, sure, but like
zero progress.
Thiago Silva, Ben Chilwell, whether we have Sterling, these players
Buddy
have
Shields
regressed.
regress. Buddy Shields.
Thiago Silva, you can't really
regressed.
judge him because he's at the end for
Bro,
Thiago Silva.
Mudryk is not supposed to be the main man. He's supposed to be someone on the bench, slowly developing his game.
Which was why
Sterling is the main player. He needs to be the one stepping up.
Yeah, I agree with that actually, AJT.
Yeah, Mudryk is someone who comes off the bench.
AJT, you're right. In a top club, Mudryk is actually someone who's getting utilized like Matthias Tell, for example, for Bayern Munich. Mudryk would be utilized like Matthias Tell. Off the bench, show me what you got. Keep working hard in the training sessions. You'll get the odd start here and there in the cup matches. And then slowly, when you are good enough, you'll start.
100%.
Mudryk should not be pinned down to start for Chelsea Football Club. He's just not there yet.
Exactly. Even Gallagher. Mudryk, Gallagher, for me, as squad players that should prove their worth. That should prove their worth over time and get their chances, their opportunities to impress and all of that. Do you guys
Madueke as well, DOF. Madueke as well.
Of course.
Here's the other thing.
Chelsea level starter.
Here's the other thing about Madueke.
He's not even a Chelsea level player. Because what's the difference between Madueke and a Hudson-Odoi? For me, in terms of potential, Hudson-Odoi was obviously hampered by the injury, but even now, Hudson-Odoi for Forest, he's doing okay. If you were to put Madueke in Forest, he'll be doing okay. There's no real difference.
You're right.
We're relying on this guy to start.
Madueke is not supposed to start too. The front line is supposed to be.
So who's actually meant to start? Because Mudryk's not meant to start. Madueke's not meant to start. And we spent $1 billion. So who's meant to start? Who's meant to start?
So it's Sterling, Nkunku, and Palmer.
But the fan base is not happy with Sterling as well, though. Do you know what I mean, AJT? I hear what you're saying, though. I completely understand what you're saying.
Here's the thing, though. Even if Sterling, even if Palmer, Madueke, Mudryk, even if all these players are absolutely terrible, we still conceded 4 goals against Liverpool, and we were lucky not to consider 6, 7, or 8.
Oh, yeah,
that doesn't have anything to do with any of these players. That doesn't have anything to do with Palmer, Madueke, Mudryk.
Yeah.
This is a much bigger issue than just a couple of players not performing to the level that we expect them to.
Very true.
100%. That I agree.
We literally have Disasi and Badiashile, who were like 16th or 17th place when they were a centre back pairing at Monaco, and suddenly they're starting for us. And these are going to be our guys.
Disasi is not supposed to be the main centre back. It's supposed to be Fofana, Wesley Fofana, but he's injured.
Another waste of 70 million.
And you know what? Look, I never used to watch Monaco in that deep level back then when they had Disasi and Badiashile. But I remember when we ended up getting Badiashile, so many people in our fan base were gassing this brother up so much like he's the next big thing. I said to everyone, just calm down, man. Let's just see what Badiashile is. Do you know what, Constantine? I have said it for the longest time. I thought, why not just continue with Chalobah? Like, Chalobah is not some sort of a world beater or anything like that. But for me, I honestly don't see too much difference.
I think it's a pure profitness.
It's a pure profit. It's a pure profit.
I think that's all it is.
That's what it's about.
Chalobah started for us in the League Cup final against Liverpool. He locked down Luis Diaz for like 120 minutes. And I think he was even playing injured that game.
Yep. With one ball as well. One of his balls was popped because of Mane. No jokes.
But that wasn't a 3 centre back system. We haven't really seen Chalobah in a 2 centre back system there.
No, even at that,
these players they would understand.
Disasi was never in a 2 centre back system either.
Even at that, before he played on the TT in a back 3, we had never seen him in a back 3 as well. And then he did well. So it's It's about the instructions. These players are not dumb. These players are not novices. These players
This
only need,
is yeah.
they
But
need
this
some level of
There's a
nudge.
tweet by
Some
Fabrizio, by the way.
Yeah, I'm
this
just
is
about to bring it up. But
this
yeah,
is
Is
revi-
it John Duran?
this is
Is he coming?
yeah, because
No, it's Broya.
is it Duran?
Duran.
Tell me it's Duran. Tell me it's John Duran.
right.
But sorry, yeah, before AGT, you go DOF. You were going to say something, bro. Talk to us.
Yeah, sorry. I was saying that these players need a level of instruction, a level of guidance, and then you let them fly. Look at when we had Didier Drogba under Mourinho. We had Didier. I think we had Crespo at the time, and we had Shevchenko at some point after Crespo and the likes. Now we had Anelka under Carlo as well, and we had Kalu and all of that. Now you can liken Kalu currently, Salomon Kalu, to maybe, for example, like a Salomon Kalu is not even on Maduke's level. Is way
Salomon
ahead of
Kalou would
him.
be our best
Oh,
player right now, probably.
Exactly.
Kalu would start for us right now.
Exactly. Now, where am I going to is that Shevchenko couldn't cope. He had to leave at some point. Crespo, maybe we signed them way too late, but regardless, those two big names couldn't really survive at some point. And then it came to the conclusion that it had to be Drogba and maybe Anelka under Kalu. Then Kalu was like the backup and all of that. Now,
Yeah.
Drogba, when he came in, had Good Johnson, Eddie Good Johnson, if we remember.
Yes, yes.
Drogba also struggled, but that was where Mourinho's brilliance came in. Mourinho brought out the beast. I'm not talking about the players not taking responsibilities for their own duties and all of that. Of course, they should. But as a manager, you will have to do something unique to get the best out of a player. Some people will say Poch brought out Harry Kane. I'm sorry to disagree. The only thing Poch did for Harry Kane was to hand him his debut. Nothing.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Harry
think it
Kane,
was.
I think it was AVB that even gave the debut.
Was it AVB
Tim
or Tim
Sherwood.
Sherwood? I think it was
Oh yeah,
Tim
Tim
Sherwood.
Sherwood. Yeah, Tim Sherwood.
Yeah.
You're right.
And let's
It
be
was Tim
honest,
Sherwood.
Harry Kane became more the Harry Kane that we are referring to now
After his
Post-
loan.
Under
Poch.
Mourinho.
under Mourinho. Yeah,
Under
when he
Mourinho.
started playing a bit deeper, when he started being a bit of a playmaker.
After like 10 and a half or 9 and a half, whatever Mourinho calls that role. And then that was when he became that player. So he had nothing to do with Poch. It was just a continuity. Now, how would you know it had nothing to do with Poch? Since Poch left Spurs as Harry Kane dropped a level lower. No. It keeps soaring higher and higher. Now, what am I trying to say in essence? All these players that we're talking about, yes, some of them are squad players like we all know. Agreed, 100%. But then again, still, there are some of these players that with a little bit of nudge and information as to this is how you do this. Trust me, they will be better. Trust me, they will be better. Now, when TT came, before TT came, I think Aspie was frozen out under Lampard, if I remember. Rudiger and Christensen. No, Rudiger, precisely.
Alonso as well.
And Alonso. Look at
Jorginho
what they
as well.
did eventually. Look at what they became eventually.
But Lampard, you can't really judge it with Lampard because he's not a manager anyway. So what he done?
No, but
Lampard-
regardless
Lampard's
of
not a manager, bro.
Lampard
Lampard's not a
being
manager.
a manager or not, Lampard's first tenure during the lockdown, during the transfer ban, is way and miles ahead of what we're currently experiencing on the Poch. Lampard is not a manager, I agree, 100%. He should be a sporting director or something like that.
It's so scary
But-
what you just said. Lampard, that season under Lampard, the lockdown season, is miles ahead of Poch, and we spent $1 billion now, and then that Lampard
Yes,
transfer ban
yeah.
season is
So it's a mad
And-
wake up call.
it's a dream right now.
Don't also
It's a
forget, we
dream.
were also integrating youth on that Lampard that first season. We had Rhys James coming back from Wigan. We had Mason Mount coming back from Derby.
He had Reece
Fikayo
James coming
Tomori.
back from injury, not only
We had
from
the
Wigan.
players coming back from injuries, and somehow, miraculously, magically, whatever word you want to use, we finished fourth, even though it was a struggle at some point. But right
You know
now,
that-
we can't even perceive fourth.
The
Nah,
thing
just
about
cover
that
the
season
Conference
is the
Nah,
thing
just
about
cover
that
that.
season is that it was directly after the Sarri season, so that team was already playing together. Yes, we did lose our best player in Eden Hazard, but Christian Pulisic, although it wasn't a Hazard replacement per se, he did perform very well in that first season, right?
Lockdown
Exceptionally.
Pulisic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
lockdown.
Lockdown was
Lockdown, yeah.
top notch, right? And a lot of the things came. We had the experienced players like the Willian and Pedro. So it was definitely a different thing. And all the youngsters that came into the team it wasn't a situation like Madueke, who we've bought for 30 million, and he doesn't really care that much about the club. It was people from the academy who do care about the club, who live and or at least at the time it seemed live and breathe Chelsea. Of course, stuff happened later on with Mason or whatever that maybe that wasn't the case, but at least at the time that was the feeling, that was the heart was there, the passion was there, the whole team was together. We had the experienced players like Azpilicueta, we had all these other players, whether I know Alonso was frozen out, but that wasn't until later on. I think it was like the end of the first season. So it was definitely a very different situation than now. If we just plug Frank Lampard back into this team, we get exactly what we got last season, right? At the end of that season, where we basically lost every game with Frank Lampard. So
No,
You put Frank Lampard in this team is
100%.
relegation.
No, 100%. I already said Lampard should be a sporting director, or like Mies and Matisse said the other day, should be doing watch-alongs and the likes. However, where
that's not a bad idea. I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
not a bad idea, bro. We'll all be tuning in.
where I'm headed is, let's go back to the most recent times. We had under Mourinho, I think in 15, 16 or 17, Andre Schürrle, who was like a wild card, so to say. And we had the likes. Now, under Conte, I'm just going to pick out one special player, a player that dramatically improved under these managers.
Moses.
Under Conte, I'm not going to go for the Alonsos and the likes. I'm going to go for an undercover. I will go for Victor Moses, who was a winger and became a right wing back, right? From Conte, we went back to, let me just jump it. We went to Tuchel. Of course, I can list so many players. I can list it. Let's just keep it at Mason Mount. Let's just keep it at that. Then we went to Sarri. Before Tuchel, we went to Sarri. Sarri, of course, we can talk about so many players. Loftus-Cheek stood out for me before that injury.
Huge. Yeah.
Before that injury.
He was our second best player that season.
Yeah,
Exactly.
second best player after Eden Hazard.
Callum Hudson-Odoi too.
Callum Hudson-Odoi too, before the injury and all of that. Now, fast forward back to Lampard or whatever. Now, come back to Poch. Don't tell me Palmer, because Palmer is a City product. And don't tell me Gallagher, because Gallagher is still Gallagher. He just presses and doesn't do as much. So tell me, who is that unique player you can say that Poch, okay, is it Colwill at left back, that you can say Poch has had an impact on? Just one.
Zero.
Just one, please. Just one.
Zero, bro. Zero.
Petrovic.
No. Petrovic is down.
Nah, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, I swear to God.
Gilchrist.
I swear to God, when Sanchez comes back,
Alfie Gilchrist,
that's crazy.
Alfie Gilchrist, that's a good one, yeah.
But I'm telling you guys right now, when
Ian
Sanchez
Maxwell,
comes
man.
back, he's gonna bench Petrovic. I'm telling you right now.
No, if
This
it does
guy
that,
is-
then
is
that's
gonna
if
do
it does that, then it should be. In fact, the moment we hear any ramblings about that, is P45 should just be waiting for him, to be honest. Because why would you? On what
don't think it's
basis?
happening.
On what basis would you replace Petrovic? I'm not saying that Petrovic has become Petr Cech, but he has not put a foot wrong since he started.
Bro, if it wasn't for Petrovic against Liverpool, I'm telling you, that's a 9-1, or if we get our goals, it's a 9-2. But by the way, let's just have a quick look at some of these recent tweets. We're going to go to Aka and JC very, very soon. So hang in there, guys. Max is saying here, bit of an insight into last night. Pochettino and players furious at ref decisions. Poch plans to speak to players today, tomorrow, as he is very upset the team lost too many duels. However, some players thought the team was not set up well enough to compensate the lost duels. Well. Look what we have here.
Which
We
other
have
players?
the manager not
Caicedo
happy
and
with the...
Enzo?
Caicedo
Well-
was isolated. He was in no man's land. They
This
play
is
on
what
a
I
yellow
mean.
card.
This is what I mean. People need to start understanding. They need to see what's going on here. We got the manager who's upset with the players because they're not winning duels, which is also true. Don't get me wrong. Some of these players were not winning any of the duels. Like they're just not. They seem like they weren't capable. But at the same time, I think the players are also right that whenever we lost the ball in critical areas, like for example, when we lost the ball where Ben Chilwell was acting like a superhero for some reason, when he lost the ball for that first ball, like we were so badly positioned, like it was already a swarm of players from Liverpool, and then obviously Jota, that was just inexcusable how he just went straight through Buddy Shield and Thiago Silva. But we can also talk about the fourth goal, I believe, which was a cross from Bradley, how it was just so easy for him to just defeat Buddy Shield on the left
So
side.
soft.
So soft. Cross comes in. Szoboszlai not marked by any of the defenders. So These are the things I think this particular tweet, yeah, there is managerial problems, there is player problems, but at the moment, I've said this for the longest time. When you're working for an organization and that organization is failing on a consistent basis, I'm telling you, those people in the organization will start resenting coming to work. It's a natural reaction of people. Don't
Do you
tell
see
me.
It's
Enzo's
a
dad?
snowballing effect.
Yeah.
To be honest with us, I mean, we're all on 8-year contracts for the players, so they're probably happy to come in and just coast by for another 8 years. So
Sorry, Valen, you were going to say something?
Do you see Enzo's dad's comments?
Exactly. Enzo's dad's comments saying that Enzo, he's frustrated, he's not happy. I'm telling you, Enzo will not continue like this. Enzo is, yes, he's on an 8-year contract, 9-year contract, whatever, as Constantine said, like they're in a long-term contract. But I'm telling you, these players are the longer they're staying here at Chelsea Football Club, they're losing their reputation as well. Soon they're not going to get picked for the national teams. Soon they might even get dropped for this team. So they're not going to continue like this. And they know that they're good enough to play at the highest level somewhere else and win trophies. Enzo Fernandez, even though he's got a large contract, in this day and age, honestly, contracts mean diddly squat. Enzo Fernandez broke a 6-year contract with Benfica to come and join Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, if the player wants to leave, they'll find a solution. It just means that someone will have to pay out that contract. Someone will have to come in and put on a large sum of money to pay out that contract. And someone
especially
will do that.
with our owners as well, they'll take the money.
They'll take the money.
Comes in.
Because you can't have a player that doesn't want to be at the football club, right? It's like the Lukaku situation. Lukaku don't want to be at Chelsea Football Club. We don't want Lukaku. But no one wants to pay his fees either. So we're in a little bit of a limbo. We have to send him out on loan. Similar things will happen if some of our players are unwilling to stick around, right? But look, this is interesting. Let's move on to the next part of this tweet. Cesare Cassidy was called to help height problems.
Oh my
which
god!
Also an
all the
aggressive
more this
body
guy. Oh man.
in
I don't
midfield with
believe this.
Pochettino is a
We
fan of.
have already established that height wasn't an issue.
What's the source for this, man? What's the source?
This
my
man,
God.
watch that performance.
Max is just
and
making
you know
stuff
what
up
we need.
himself.
You know what we need.
Yeah,
We just need more height. That's it.
this man.
I don't believe that one. That's just
When Jota scored the first goal yesterday and he went through by the shield Thiago Silva, where was the height? Was it just straight through?
Do you know what? I'm not going to disregard that. I don't believe that because Ian Martin was apparently not used because of height. Levi Colwell has the height. So this height thing, don't disregard it, man. Like I think Pochettino is very big on the height. I wouldn't be surprised.
But
I think he's just looking for excuses. I think he's just looking. Danny Rose was his left back at Spurs.
The height is so irrelevant
Palmer
because if there's no defensive setup, there's no defensive structure.
Exactly.
What's height got to do with anything?
What
Look,
are these owners
I
think? Basketball or something?
I never bought in on the height issue. I never did because for me that's a stupid situation. But apparently it's a thing. You know, you got people
goals
like
have you conceded from set pieces as well. Like surely height should help with set pieces. If
100%. 100%. Height has not helped us out in anything. Height has not helped us out in attack. Height has not helped us out in defense. So for me, this is a non-news. But
it's embarrassing.
Chelsea journalists are actually saying these sort of stuff.
No, bro, but
yeah, go on.
Cassidy replaced Palmer. Palmer is taller than Cassidy. I don't believe that. I don't believe it.
That's too funny, bro. That's too funny. Chelsea insist on $5 million loan fee to let Armando Broja leave in the final hours. Wolves and Fulham both still there insisting, but not at the current condition. Look, don't be surprised if Broja just sticks around. Regia Park, thank you so much for the super chat. Jota split Silva and Badia chilled like Moses parting the Red Sea. Most of our players do not walk into the top 6 teams. Enzo and others might push for exit. Aka, my brother. How you doing?
Yes. No, I'm good, man. I heard you guys talking about the players and that, innit? I don't know. I just kind of
you just couldn't hold on, bro. You had to jump in.
I can't lie. Like, I don't know if you want to go back to that conversation, but I just wanted to say, like, in my opinion, on this Chelsea team, innit, there's so many not good enough players, right? And I can't, like, I think I would say there's like 4 to 5 maybe players that we can keep and should build around long term, innit? But the rest of the team and the bench is average and below average. And that's me using nice words, you understand what I'm saying? Like when you look at that bench and you see the players that we could bring on to change the game for us, it's a joke. It is disgraceful, bro. And people here like we've spent £1 billion and like we should be better because of the. I'm thinking, but we spent £1 billion on rubbish players. Like Mudryk is £66 million. And Madueke is like what 30 something million pounds. That's like £90 million on two players who will never be good enough. They will never be good enough, no matter what you do. There is no coaching that's going to save Mudryk. There's no coaching that's going to save Madueke. And this is around the entire team. Like we have what's his name, man? David Washington.
David Washington. Don't
What
forget
this?
him.
This
Bro, to get it right, bro. It's David Washington, bro. Come on, bro. It's David.
So for me, it's like I want to sit here and be like, Poch is this, Poch is that, and I agree with a lot of things like how you guys are criticizing Poch. But when I look at the players that he has at his disposal, what's he meant to do with them? What's anyone meant to do with them, bro?
This
Bro,
why I said
let me
Aka. Like
ask you
this
this.
is why I said, just quickly, Sharon, before I go to you.
Yeah, for sure.
This is why I said Aka that there is other bigger fundamental issues as well. Like what we've mentioned in this stream so far, that why haven't we gone for players like, for example, Musa Diaby? Why is he gone to Aston Villa? Why haven't we gone for Mohamed Kudus? Why is he going to West Ham? Do you know what I mean? Like these are players that we probably should have looked at before your Mudryk, before your Madueke, before your Jackson. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, Sherwin, go on, bro.
No, I just wanted to ask this. Let's take out Pep Guardiola from Man City and let's put Poch in there. How do you think that team performs?
Not good, bro.
I don't think they win the league, but I think they play I think they play fine. Just like they'll be a top 4 team like with ease.
That's because of the players themselves running the show.
The players they have, yes.
Yeah, it won't be because of Poch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so the point I'm trying to make is that sure, you can criticize the players, but the biggest problem here is the manager. If we had a better manager, however bad these players may be, they wouldn't be this bad.
I just disagree with that like so wholeheartedly, bro. Like a lot of these players have shown us their colors over these last 2 seasons. You know what I mean? Like what's Mudryk's best game? The Liverpool game on his debut?
His debut, yeah, his debut.
You know what I mean, bro? Like he's been there for a year.
You guys do know that Mudryk didn't start this game, right?
Yeah.
I know. I'm just trying to explain like the amount of rubbishness that is in this team. Like, if you give, go on.
Name one player that Poch has improved.
Poch has improved. I understand that. Yeah, you can sit here and say Poch ain't improved no one. But let's just go back to this point.
So my point is, if he hasn't improved anyone, then how can we say that no one's going to improve Madueke, no one's going to improve Mudryk?
Because
that's a good point.
Mudryk has had what 3-4 managers, and his best game is his debut still. Like, make that make sense. Players like Enzo, players like Reece James, someone like Thiago Silva. Who else? I can give these players time and patience because these are actually good players. Even Sterling, like for what he's achieved in his career, I'm more than willing to like be patient with him because he's proved something. But Madueke coming from PSV, doing what, bro? Achieving what? Do you understand?
But Madueke and Mudryk are supposed to be players who are developing, playing behind someone experienced like Sterling. Or someone like Nkunku. They're not supposed to be someone we rely on.
There's someone we rely on because of how the squad is built, fam. And like when you look at there's so many problems. You look at the players the owners have chosen to buy. That is a problem within itself. The amount of money that they've spent on players who are not even going to make it in this team is a problem in it. And then, like you lot said, like we're getting Jackson. I appreciate what Jackson's done this season, but he was linked with Bournemouth. Do you know what I mean? Linked with Bournemouth before we bought him. John Duran.
Do you know what's crazy about Jackson? He doesn't even start for Senegal, and guess who starts ahead of him for Senegal?
Who?
The striker that plays for Strasbourg.
No way.
Our sister club.
Our sister club, the striker for Strasbourg, who's like 17th in Ligue 1, he starts for Senegal.
But
crazy.
By that logic, you can also say, Sarr from Tottenham, he doesn't start for his national side too.
No, I'm pretty sure Jackson used to start.
Who from Tottenham?
Sarr,
the midfielder.
Oh, Papameta Sarr. He doesn't start for who does he play for? Ivory Coast.
At least for Sarr, he's a young player.
No,
He's
I'm
like,
pretty
what,
sure
20
he
years old?
started the last game for Ivory Coast, Pape Matar Sarr.
No, Senegal.
Aka,
Senegal.
I just have a question for you. Yes, I understand that some of these players are actually meant to be squad players, 100%. Or they're not even good enough. Agreed. That's fair enough. But when you misprofile players, how do you explain that? Because they're like Mrs. Channel is called the other side of the coin. There are two sides of the coin. So when you're misprofiling players, Palmer is not a 9, for example. Colwell is not a left back, for example. Later we
Enzo
made
is
a
not a 10.
discovery.
Enzo is not a 10.
Enzo is not a 10. Chilwell is not an 11 or a winger, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then Disasi at some point wasn't a right back. Yes, we know that injuries forced his hands, but I mean, in fact, Badiashile played left back yesterday at some point.
Don't forget Enzo.
Then of course Enzo. So you're talking about having below par players, the ones that are good enough, so to say, quote and unquote. What have we done with them? We've either misprofiled them. Some have been injured. Fair
Gallagher
enough.
has times played as number 10 as well. He's not good enough to be number 10.
Exactly. Gallagher. So there
Is
needs
it-
to
is
be a
it-
proper balance. There needs to be a
Is it
proper balance
defensive
with
10?
this.
So when I look at like other
Defensive
teams,
10.
yeah,
Wow.
like when you look at Man City, would you guys say that John Stones is a centre back or a CDM?
John Stones is
back.
a different.
Okay,
That's a
so this is
different
all right,
story
let me
entirely.
answer this. Let me answer this. I think this is going to be a good conversation with Akaka. Akaka, let me tell you something, bro. You're comparing Pep Guardiola's ideology and his philosophy with Pochettino. You're thinking John Stones is capable of playing from centre back to defensive midfield under Pep. Why isn't Poch allowed to do some ridiculous stuff like that? Because Poch is just not at that level, brother. Poch can't do, he can't change a Levi Colwell from a centre back to left back. He's not like, because the structure, you need to see when Stones plays as defensive midfield in Manchester City, there's a clear role and instruction for him. That it's not some ridiculous situation. John Stones, when he's playing that role, right, with the ball, he's a defensive midfielder. Without the ball, you'll see him drop in between and become a CB. There's a lot of intricate things that we need to watch that only an elite manager is capable of sending that message out and having the ability to get the players to execute that plan. We cannot be sitting here and comparing what Pep does. Let me just ask you this simple question, because look, to a certain degree, I agree with what you're saying, Akaka. There is a lot of, I suppose, subpar players at Chelsea Football Club. But let me ask you this. Do you propose, Akaka, that we perhaps stick with Poch for another season? In the summer, we once again get rid of the players that we potentially brought in not that long ago, and give him 2 or 3 more new players that, let's say, suit him. Do you think he's your manager to take us back to the top? Because that's what it's all about, right? It's not about coming 6th or 7th or 8th, right? It's about competing at the highest level. Is he the guy for you? Because that's what it all boils down to, right, Akaka? That's what it all boils down to.
Yeah, I can't remember what game he lost, but I don't really want Poch here long term, innit? Like, I'm all in agreement with you. Like, I don't want him here anymore, innit? My whole point with the comparison is that every manager has their own quirks. They're gonna do something that the fans disagree with. So the injuries is why Disasi's playing right back or whatever. I know he had Gust on the whatever, right? But the injuries is why he's picking the team the way he's picking it. What was the rest of your question in terms of like
that Poch the guy for you, like down the track? Because that's what the question is.
Yeah, I will build this team correctly. Go get him a striker. Go get him, if he wants a left back that's tall, whatever, go get him that. If he wants go get him the actual players he needs. None of this 12-year-old who can be good in 10 years and all of this rubbish in it. Like, don't get him a John Duran. Go get him a Tony. Go get him a Osimhen. Do these things because the players that Chelsea are buying are rubbish.
So Akaka, let's say we do get him all of that. Let's say in the summer we get him a left back, we get him a striker, we get him whoever else, right? You're confident that Poch is the guy for you. He's the guy for you to take you to the top.
Confident, no, but like, am I willing to see it? Yes,
why
I'm
why are
willing
we
to
giving
see
him
Nah,
the
that's
players if you're
waffling,
Why
not
are you
bro.
willing
That's
to see it, bro? Why
So
are
why are
you
you
willing to
No,
see it?
no, it's waffling.
because
I
okay,
think
It's not an experiment, bro.
I don't believe in this team, and I like Chelsea. Yeah, what happened to us last season has made me fall out of love with this club. So that's where I'm giving you my opinion from. I don't care about these players or this team or this manager. So am I willing to like give him more time because of all the circumstances that are working against him? Yes, I am. Do I think that Poch has been good enough? No, I don't. Has he done things that I disagree with and hate? Yes. But all the other circumstances that are working against him, I'm just thinking, how is he meant to overcome these things?
Has his history not shown you though that he's not the
It's
guy?
his job.
Come on.
Yeah, that's a good point,
Yeah,
Constant.
it's-
Has the history not shown you that he's
how many
not-
things
he's
did
not-
Tuchel have going against him in the second season?
Tuchel. The one thing about Tuchel, come on, Tuchel when he first came in, he was flown in for the first training session. It was like evening time. The next day was the game against Wolves. We drew 0-0. But the first game, you could see what Tuchel was
100%
doing.
what he was trying to do.
You could see the structure. You could see the team. Like he just took over in one training session. You can see
100%.
the difference with Tuchel. Poch, it's been 7 months. You can't see anything. Honestly,
Yeah.
the thing about Chelsea right now, this is the main thing I want to get across as well. The thing about Chelsea, whether we win or lose a game, it's not about how we play. It's about how the other team performs. So, for example, the Fulham game where we won 1-0. Before that game, when I was watching a few previews, or even me myself, I was thinking, we'll probably draw or lose because when we're not good. It really just depends what Fulham turn up. Fulham didn't turn up. We won the game. Whether we win or lose is dependent on the other team showing up or not. And that's what it is. 7 months in, I can't see anything from Poch. No structure, no patterns of play, no tactics.
Exactly.
It's like we're all just like every player is just playing on like an individual level. It's like, okay, they're just running on like a instinct. Okay, I'll pass to you, I'll move, and then if we score, we score. If we stop a block, or if we stopped like a goal being conceded, like okay, we'll just put some blocks in. It's just all just on instinct. There's no patterns of play. There's no nothing. Even Luton are probably one of the worst teams in the league. But when I tune into Luton for like 10 minutes, if I see their game on TV, in 10 minutes I can see what Luton and their manager Rob Edwards, I can see what he wants to do. I can see the structure of the team, and that's Luton Town. They're a rubbish team. They're not even a Premier League team. The players for Luton Town, they're like a League One team. They're not even a Championship. But you can see what Luton want to do. Whenever you tune into a Luton game, you can see in 10 minutes, if you just watch the game for 10 minutes, you can see the structure. With Poch, there's no structure, there's no nothing. It's all just an individual basis. Just go out there, have fun, have a good time, and then that's it. If we lose, we lose.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Did you see our pressing yesterday? We're playing a high line, and no one's pressing that
There was
defenders.
no press.
And that,
There wasn't.
yeah, and they were just feeding the ball behind.
Yesterday was even more embarrassing.
Yeah.
In theory, if you play Cole Palmer as a number 9, you would think you would have a low block and you would sit back, because that's the reason you're playing Cole Palmer as a number 9, because you want everyone to sit back and to keep a solid structure, a solid defense. That never happened. It was like, okay, Cole Palmer's the false 9, but we're still going to go and just attack and just get found out.
See,
he just throws. Throwing. Oh, Cole Palmer's been scoring. Let's throw him as a striker and see how that works out. It's just ridiculous.
It's so
to go back to that guy's point, give him another chance, get him a left back and all that. So you want to technically throw another whole year out and be 3 years straight?
Nah.
That's ridiculous. For what? For a hope that a small possibility? He's shown throughout his entire career, he is not a winner. He does not set up teams to win. That's literally his problem. The man has a Spursy mentality, and that's just the truth. It's not even, try to make a joke or anything to that degree. So why bring that level down? I mean, I worry about our team. I think we're going to be mid-table for quite a long time.
100%.
That game showed everything that you need to know between a top club, a well-built team with a great manager, and where we're at right now with kids.
The way that Conor Bradley just destroyed us yesterday was crazy.
Why a player like Osimhen is going to be coming to Chelsea. Honestly, don't get his point of view why he would join us right now.
It will
is my
coming
club.
based on the past. It will only be if he's going to join. He's going to be joining based on the past, not
100%.
What we currently have.
I would if I was like, I'm a Chelsea fan. If I was Osimhen, I would stay clear. Absolutely, I would. I would not join us.
Let me add this, right? Even if Osimhen does come, which look, I still do think he's going to come. It's not about his him coming to the team that's just going to solve. We have to set up a plan to play to his strength.
100%.
Osimhen, we need to understand the profile of that player. This player is not an Aguero-esque type of a player that can just do miracles on his own.
Yep.
Osimhen will press hard, of course, which goes well with Pochettino. But then again, pressing cannot be dependent on one player. Pressing depends on the entire unit. So Osimhen just Osimhen pressing by himself and the rest of the team are not in tune is not going to work out. That's number one.
That just means he's not going to be in a position to actually be an attack. If he's the one doing the pressing, he's not going to be where he needs to be. You see that even with Nicholas Jackson, because the team doesn't do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Jackson appears always, all the time, out of position.
And the second thing is, someone like Osimhen, you need to provide quality service for him so that he can do the damage.
Yep.
We had Lukaku, and we have refused to play through Lukaku. Even though look, whatever we want to say about Lukaku, he was
we did Lukaku dirty.
He sabotaged our football club, this, that, the other. But whenever Lukaku was on, I can tell you, guaranteed, there was only one player that was looking to play to his strength, and that was Kovacic. Every time Kovacic had the ball from deep, he was always looking for Lukaku's run. Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, every other brother did not want to pass it to Lukaku.
But Miz, doesn't
we
have to build the squad properly, and we have to build the squad with the pieces that all work together. Like, do you know what I mean? Because
one of those pieces is the manager, though.
It's so crazy what you even said, because
you can't build the pieces for a manager. You can't, except you're sure.
Manager is a piece of
just on that from Aka, you're absolutely right, brother. We have to build a team that is suitable for the playing style of a manager. But let me say something. This squad was assembled, it seems like, without Pochettino's guidance. It kind of seems like the board wanted to do certain things. They had a certain plan in their head, and they just thought that Poch will come in and simply develop these young players. That's all they ever thought about.
Yeah.
They didn't really think about anything else. What they now need to think about is two things. One, they need to start clocking that this squad is not capable of playing the way Poch probably wants to play, which is, a lot of physical players in the middle, lots of pressing, not really tiki-taka, more direct, and just really trying to create a very, chaotic situation in the final third and possibly a basketball game, really. This team is not set out for that. This team is set out for more technical ability. I think this team is more suitable for a Sarri type of a manager, let's just say for argument's sake, right? So the board needs to decide on one of the two things now. If you're sticking with Poch, then you do need to get rid of some of these players that don't match his style, and you're potentially having to spend a lot more money, which I don't think Chelsea Football Club will do that because financial fair play is on everyone's back. Or two, you get rid of this manager and this time actually get a manager that suits the squad that you assembled.
But the problem is, here's the thing about this. They bought players because of what they see in value. They don't know what they built. They don't see what they can even build. They don't have experience.
The players they're buying is just to flip for profit.
They can't build. They can't build a team.
Yeah. So what you're saying, JC, is that they've built a team not really based on quality, not based on like setting up a squad, but more based on financial matters.
Absolutely.
That's it. Thank you, JC.
And that's going to continue. So let's say you get a more technical manager like Sarri, right? They're going to give players that's going to fit them. They don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
There's just going to be more different players what they can see value in.
This was my whole point.
They're not going to be getting that experience in because it doesn't make financially sense for them.
No, 100%.
They're going to sit in a room where everybody that's got money in the club is going to veto each other to the point where they're just going to buy inexperienced players that they can see value in 8 years. That's just how it's going to be. Yeah. I feel like that's our reality right now.
This is why we really cannot trust the board, because this board has shown us over and over again that we cannot trust them. Like they're exactly like Poch. Like we cannot trust them. Like after Poch comments yesterday, I don't know if I should laugh or if I should cry or if I should just be angry, because this guy's a flipping fraud. Like, enough is enough. Like, I said it yesterday, I was so scared of that game because I had a feeling that we're gonna get smacked. But for some,
you were actually scared before the game. You were very
something
scared.
just
Big up
tells me
Benji,
that
man.
it's gonna go left, and I knew it all along. I knew it all along. And what happened yesterday? 4-1, like 4-1.
But
yeah,
it should have been. It could have been 9-1, bro. Like they had
Nah,
88 shots.
Can I quickly add this?
Darwin Nunes.
Can we just stop? Can we just stop blaming the ref?
Yeah.
Like, seriously?
DOF, go on, bro.
100%.
DOF.
Now, can I quickly add this? On the TT, I think in 2020 or 2021, when we played Liverpool, I don't know if you guys remember, we played Liverpool to Liverpool's weakness. If you remember, it was Timo Werner and Mason Mount.
Yeah.
Was that the Mason Mount cutback? He cut back from Trent Alexander-Arnold and then he scored that goal.
The quarantine season.
Yep.
And we had Lukaku. We didn't play Lukaku. Why? Because we wanted to play to their weakness. That is a top manager. Now, fast forward to, is it the FA Cup final or whatever final that we drew zero, the one Lukaku
we should have
scored.
won those. We should have won those.
Exactly. The one Lukaku scored. Now,
FA
if you
Cup.
remember, Lukaku
That was no
also
offside.
he didn't
Yeah, that was
start.
crazy.
He didn't. Yeah, I don't like nobody wants Lukaku right now, but Lukaku didn't start in that game. But Tuchel read the game perfectly at some point and brought him on. I think that was after Lukaku had done the interview he did with Sky Italia and all that. And then Lukaku scored. Unfortunately, VAR said it was off. Well, now what am I trying to say? Is 2 games,
It was the wrong. Yeah.
2 games, the same team, 2 different game plans. By
Reading the
a single
situation.
manager.
Reading the
By,
situation.
by the same
100%.
manager. Now we played City again 3 good times. 3 times. I think in 2021 as well. And
Yeah, it was
yes,
2021.
the fundamentals were to sit back, absorb, and attack. But I can't remember if it was the first or the second game. Either of the games, we were more attacking than the others. Now, what am I trying to say? It takes a coach who knows the expectations, who really knows his onions, to know that it is not always going to be one role fits all. That's just what it is. Pot has not been tactically flexible. We can say all we want to say, that the squad has not been set up for him. I totally agree. Just like it wasn't for Potter as well and the likes. But the truth is, I'm not saying that an elite manager will win the trophy with these players, but an elite manager will get something much more than what Poch is not getting right now. And then maybe we just need one catalyst, just one person who is going to be that rebel, or who's going to be that catalyst to tell the board that you can see I'm doing a good job. Of course, the board will also see the club or the owners or the fans already love you. Maybe at some point there could be a shifting point to say, okay, we backtrack a bit. But it's going to take someone who has pedigree. Unfortunately, Tuchel couldn't withstand that nonsense.
Well, let me add a little bit to that.
I'll just say this real quick because it's 4 a.m. here and I gotta get going.
First, and then we'll go to
If
JC.
you think the board is gonna be changing their mindset and how they're playing it right now, all you have to do is look into what's happening at this very moment. They are willing to let Broja go right now, with us only having Nicholas Jackson and not getting anybody in right now. And the only reason why they want to do that is so Broja's value can go up. So they're willing to sacrifice half of the rest of the season just so they can get a bit more value when they sell Broja. That's got to tell you everything where their mind is at.
Hold on, guys. Hold on, 1 second. Yeah, Showen, now go next.
Yeah. I'll just say this, and I have to go because it's 4 a.m. here. But basically, what I was gonna say is that if you believe that this is going to happen, if they're only after building a portfolio, they don't care about looking at what the manager needs, what kind of players we need to bring in so they all work together, then that's just more evidence that we shouldn't go after project type managers, right? Because if they're never gonna go out there and get the players right for their project, then why are we trying to have a project manager? Like, if you think that Poch, if we give him time, if we give him the right players, well, you're on the other hand saying that they're never going to get the right players, right? So that's even more evidence that we need an impact type of manager like a Mourinho who can at least get the best out of what he has. And that's all I was going to say. Thank you very much. Lovely talking with you guys.
Take care, my man.
Great to get it out of my system. Disgrace, Poch is a disgrace. Take care, guys.
Lads, before we get on to more conversation, I just want to quickly share this with you guys. Coming from Chelsea Transfer, Sean Wright-Phillips. If you go to Anfield, the least you need to do is run. Liverpool had the ball more, attacked more, and somehow managed to run 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers more than Chelsea, who should have been chasing the ball around to stop it. That really shouldn't be possible, but it's managed to happen, and that just shows you the heart. I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall in the dressing room, because I know under Mourinho we've lost a game 2-1 and the whole dressing room has been turned upside down because he thinks that shouldn't happen to a team like Chelsea. Look, there's so many things Sean Wright Phillips has said here, which we're going to touch base on, but look at what he said about Mourinho. Look at what he just said, right? What an elite manager can do to a dressing room. That's one thing. I know a lot of you guys will probably laugh in the live chat. Firstly, it'll probably be Haj who'll laugh at this, but for me, Mourinho is still very much rateable. But anyway, that aside, look at this information that Sean. Why is our team, and this I solely blame on Poch, because his game plan, whatever it was, at least the fundamentals should have been that you need to run the same amount as Liverpool. Why is Liverpool players running 8 to 9 kilometers more than us? Why?
It's because there's no pressure.
I want to add a little bit of reasoning why behind that.
Yeah,
go ahead. In a play, we're essentially stuck with 2-4-4, and what that happens is, which Liverpool played against us, what that happens is they go on the wings, and you attack with your fullbacks and your wings, and what that happens is the one person on the side, which should be technically like Raheem Sterling, but because the way the team is set up, only one player has to track back now, because we have been exposed, because of the way Poch set us up. We have been exposed by the fullback and the wingers of Liverpool. And one player gets to run like crazy, try to make up for the empty space that's left through the system itself. So everybody in the middle is just essentially useless. So you play tight like that, you're going to get exposed in the wings. And therefore, everybody's not going to be running back, because the system itself does not allow you for that.
You're completely right, CJ. And I'm gonna add to that. Before I'm add to that, I'm gonna add to the Mourinho stuff that Miz just read. Have you guys heard the story about when Mourinho was in Madrid?
Which one? There's so many.
Yeah. So basically, what he did in Madrid.
I think he's cut out.
Yeah, I think he just cut out. But yeah, go on.
Here you go.
Mourinho's listening to the conversation.
Clearly.
Is Benji, you there, bro?
Yeah. I'm here. Sorry.
Benji?
Okay.
Clearly got to
again.
No, Mourinho doesn't want him to say the story.
David Blaine.
Yeah.
But anyway, someone else, if you guys want to join in.
Oh my goodness, the connection is crazy. Oh my god, the connection is crazy. I said, just quick, Mourinho was in Madrid, and what he did in Madrid, he had a mentality of you have no friends. So basically, the Spain team was basically a team of the Barcelona players and the Madrid players. And when they played the Euro Cup and they won it, they basically had a fight like every day, because Mourinho had this mentality of they are not your friends. Like you can't be with them. So
it was us against the world.
That's the thing. And the same thing was at Chelsea when he came in. So when he came in at Chelsea, the same mentality was imprinted. So if you look at it, why is Chelsea so hated? It's because of Mourinho, what he did to Arsenal, to United, to Liverpool. We were so hated because we did some crazy stuff. He did some crazy stuff. Now it's different. So we need that mentality back. That's one thing that Mourinho can bring to this team. Mourinho, he's gonna bring that fight, that spirit to this club. That we fans, under the Roman era, like the ruthlessness thing, the anger, the passion that we played with. But now it's just so soft.
But does the mentality not only go so far? Because even with Mourinho, I think the truth is probably somewhere in between. Whereas if you have a manager like Mourinho, I still don't see us getting top 4, because simply the squad isn't good enough. And the position that we're in, we can't really even improve the squad so much, because we need a left back. Definitely we need a left back. We need a striker. We need a centre back. Probably need another winger. or 2 wingers.
Two.
Constantine, which manager do you think with the current squad that can take us to possibly top 4?
Huh?
If I'm completely honest, possibly top 4, 0. I don't see any manager taking us anywhere because the squad isn't good enough. So it all comes back to the owners. The owners have spunked $1 billion, and people need to understand as well, because I think there was a report that came out maybe 1 month ago where it was like, oh, the owners have invested like another 140 million in shares or something, and people saying, oh, that's for Osimhen, or like for a transfer. That 140 million or 120 million, that's to get the money into the club. The fact that we've not made Champions League football, because if people can remember to the summer, the target for Poch was to get Champions League football. That was the target for Poch. We're not going to make Champions League football. So there's going to be a big gap in revenue coming into the club. So in terms of the summer window, if people think, oh yeah, we'll just plug in Osimhen and now we're going to shoot forward, no. Even right now, if you were to put Osimhen in this team, we're not getting top 4.
So how many more positions? Just quickly, because this is an intriguing. One second, guys. This is quite an intriguing point that Constantine's just brought up. I just want to just quickly touch on that, and you guys can all jump in. So, what more positions do you need to rectify for us to be a top 4 team, so that a manager can actually do something about it?
It's
how many more
to even
positions?
answer, because we spent $1 billion.
Left wing and left back for sure.
I can we spent $1 billion, so it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to even answer it.
Hold on, guys. I just want to hear out Constantine for a second. Hold on. Yeah,
I would say definitely a left back, because Chilwell injury prone. Cucurella, in my opinion, personally, is not good enough. Cucurella, I used to even watch him sometimes at Getafe. I would never think, oh yeah, he's a Chelsea left back or a top left back. No, we need a definite left back.
Did you rate Maatsen?
Maatsen, it's difficult to say because we've only really seen him perform at a good level at Burnley, so we've not really seen him perform in the Premier League. But I would have definitely kept him as a backup left back. I think he's better than Cucurella. Maybe as a backup left back, I definitely would have kept him. But I would still say we need a left back. We need a centre back. Thiago Silva's leaving. Badiashile, Fofana. Also got Disasi. They're not elite centre backs. Definitely another midfielder as well, which is embarrassing to say because we spent so much money on midfielders. I mean, come on, we were all laughing at Liverpool in the summer.
So striker,
we took Caicedo. Yeah,
striker, left winger, back, winger, midfielder,
centre back.
Just on the left back point.
So 5.
That's a complete overhaul.
Are you confident that this board will get you the players that you feel is required to compete for?
Definitely not. No, of course not. Of course not. So it all goes back to the owners and Clearlake. At the end of the day, we all know their strategy, and especially I think people it's very sad to say, but have to accept. After $1 billion has been spent, $1 billion, it's not, goes without saying, it's not pennies, it's not small money. After $1 billion has been spent on the strategy, that's the strategy that's going to go forward. So you can expect, okay, we might get Osimhen, and then fans will get happy, when Fabrizio tweets in the summer, oh yeah, Osimhen, here we go to Chelsea. Okay, get happy. But then we still need a left winger, we still need a left back. We're still going to have, in my opinion, a mid-squad overall. And after $1 billion spent, it's embarrassing to say that. So, and even then, the manager that we get is...
Yeah, so basically, I can see Hudge saying that, Akaka was saying that and he got cooked. He didn't get cooked. No one's getting cooked here. As many people have said in this panel, I fully understand what Constantine and what Akaka has said, but I also disagree with that. That's what I'm saying. This is a platform of different perspectives. No one's got the right answer here. Do you know what I mean? So what Aka and Constantine has said, that's one way of looking at things. But I'm under the understanding that with the players that we have, and I kid you not, with the players that we have, right, with a better, more astute manager, tactically apt manager, I'm fully under the understanding that we can get better.
But even more then, discipline. What's the ceiling? What's the maximum ceiling? Because for me, that's probably sixth place. That's probably sixth. That's probably sixth.
I don't know. I don't know what the ceiling might be because they're kids, right? They could potentially develop into something. But if we play, for argument's sake, let's say, goalkeeper obviously Petrovic at the moment, right back Malagusto, Levi Colwell as one of the CBs, along with, I don't know whether it's a Desasi, Buddy Shield, Wesley Fofana. You pick and choose because Thiago Silva is not long term.
None of them.
for me, if you can't get enough out of Ben Chilwell and Kukurea, then why did you get rid of Martsen? Martsen's doing the bits in Dortmund. Okay, no problems. That's a position you can rectify. No problems if you think that is not doing well there. Go out in the market and sort that out. In midfield, if you're telling me Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Chukwuemeka, Lavia, I know some of these players are not available. If they're not good enough, like, I can't.
But even then, I think sometimes the transfer value overflates the quality of the player, because if you actually sit down and look at the facts, Enzo Fernandez, 20
so who's
before
not
the
good?
World
Who's
Cup.
not good?
I think they're all good, but are they actually at a level where they can get us to where we were? Literally, when people talk about Chelsea, sometimes they go back, oh yeah, Mourinho, 2004-5, whatever. No, we literally won the Champions League 2 years ago with an elite manager and a good squad. You don't have to go all the way back to Mourinho or to Ancelotti. Even Conte was like not too long. It was like 6 years ago now, 6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
like,
7.
You don't have to go all the way back. So, like Caicedo and Enzo, Caicedo had a 1 year of Premier League football for Brighton, who's like a 7th, 8th place team. Enzo, he was signed for Benfica for like, what is it, 10, 15 million in September or August before the World Cup. And then we signed him in January after the World Cup for 100 million. That was
Liverpool signed that.
But on the same note, Constantine, like Julian Alvarez was also signed for peanuts, but he's done well. Like both of them were in River Plate balling.
With Man City, they had the scouting system to identify a player. They actually scouted Julian Alvarez at River Plate and go, okay, he can be potentially a good player for us. Whereas for us, Enzo Fernandez, we just scouted him, quote unquote, from the World Cup, which is a very difficult.
No, we didn't.
You know, or not even scouted, but like just saw him at the World Cup. Be like, okay, he's a banger of a player. Let's go sign him.
That's how we signed him. But
look at
are you telling me that he's not good enough for Chelsea? Is that what we're getting to?
No.
I would say he's not out. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? This current squad, let's say our first 11, the first 11, everybody's fit, everybody's available. Are you telling me that Tottenham, Aston Villa, and Arsenal, who are currently 3rd, 4th, and 5th, have better teams than we do currently have right now? Our first 11.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's out of the question. Absolutely.
Yes.
For me, to be honest,
I can agree with Arsenal, Tottenham, and Villa.
To be honest, I would say Aston Villa starting 11. I would have Aston Villa's starting 11.
Wait. Can I just ask you a question? When we say fit players, do we mean fit players under Poch? Because under Poch, I will not take this team.
No. I mean,
I will not take this team. But
I don't think the manager makes a difference.
Okay. Let the manager, for example, Alonso. If it's Alonso or maybe
just sorry, Benji. I'm getting so frustrated in my head right now. Do you guys realize it's the same Aston Villa team that was 16th with Steven Gerrard? I mean, obviously they added a few ingredients, but that was this season. Last season they started the fly, right? If you're telling me it's not Unai Emery that's changed Aston Villa, you're having a laugh.
Now, Miz, now you get into my point. Now you really get into my point.
Exactly.
So he's changed it, but even on paper,
not that long ago, people didn't. Not that long ago, people did not rate a single player from Aston Villa. Now everyone wants Aston Villa players.
Exactly, it means you get my point. Now, you get my point.
No, I think the logic is let Aston Villa are 5th. If Aston Villa finished this Premier League season in 5th and Chelsea finished 10th, then no one here is going to tell me that Aston Villa is not a better team than Chelsea. If they finish above us, they are a better team than us.
Here's the thing,
they're a better team than us, not just because of probably better players, but because of a better manager. Like we cannot sit here and disregard the manager's role here. Then we might as well just act like the owners, because our owners absolutely disregard the manager's job.
That's my point.
It was because of a change of manager that we won the Champions League.
Yeah, it was.
Spurs last season under Antonio Conte, no one wanted any of the Spurs players. Spurs now with almost the same player. Obviously, they've added some quality with Madison and whatnot. Not that long ago, no one wanted Basuma. Now everyone wants Basuma again. You're telling me that that's just on Basuma and that's not on the manager?
No, that's on the manager.
Same
with Pedro
you have to understand the manager is part of the team, and if with the experience that Unai Emery has, if he came to Chelsea and with those Aston Villa players, they're still going to play the same way because the manager is part of the team and he makes a big difference on how Aston Villa play.
But the thing with Aston Villa, you
right
have to
now,
realize,
Unai Emery will be part of the Aston Villa team because he's a leader, he's a manager.
Yeah,
we have very talented players. I mean, talent only goes so far. We all know this. We know the next Messi, the next Ronaldo. This is what they're invested in. But how many of those players ever make it? They just disappear.
But
this is
how
what
many
the
kids did
owners
Aston
don't
Villa
understand.
have?
They don't get this part because they haven't been in football long enough. They don't get that talent does not mean anything. There's work ethic that comes with it. There's depending on how you get built throughout by different managers. That shapes who you are going to be as a player. Just throwing you on a Chelsea team with a blue shirt on a top team does not mean you're going to be successful. Does not mean that Mudryk is going to grow a footballing IQ. He has all the tools. However, the brain is not there. He's more of a track athlete, not a football player. So that's
okay. So can we just say this? The problem is Poch. I think we all can agree on that. That
absolutely,
if Poch continues in this
100%.
position, if Poch continues in this position, we ain't gonna go so far. And the board has to take, accountability to that too. Yes, we can all agree on that. But the only thing that I can say is, from a man that does sport, from a man that plays professional, you cannot go so far without a manager that has a plan and a vision for your club. That's all I'm saying. So basically, when Poch got appointed to the manager, I was never in because you have to look at someone's track record. Like, you can't just say, oh, he did this at Tottenham, so he's gonna do this at Chelsea. What he was at Tottenham. Yes, I get it. But what did he do after Tottenham? What did he do at PSG? Not so much. We have to take the managers.
Title with PSG. Lost the title. Crazy.
Now,
that's
Benji,
the thing.
Benji,
when he lost the title. When he lost the title,
Benji, one moment.
Yeah.
One moment. You made mention of something that is very striking. When it was at Tottenham, he did it. Now, we need to understand the expectations at Tottenham and the expectations at Chelsea of old are two different things.
Now you get not something.
Exactly. Now I'm getting somewhere now. Now, because he achieved or he got to second position the season Leicester won the trophy and all that, it was assumed that Poch had a very good season. Now, Maurizio Sarri, yes, Chelsea didn't want to sack him. He wanted to leave. Won the Europa League, but still the fans felt like we were drab, we were poor, we were not playing well. Now, you can see that the expectations are different. So, which brings me back to the first point I made again. When there are less expectations, the little is always magnified. When there are more expectations, the pressure will always push you to do more. So, a lot of people are now dropping the expectations, all in a bid for the Tottenham glory days, quote and unquote, to come back, and then we can celebrate, oh, he has developed players. So I agree with you, Benji, 100%. When it was at Tottenham, the expectations, nobody would have expected them to have gone for second position or even the league. So he had exceeded the expectations. But at Chelsea, certainly the expectations are always high and will remain high. But please, before I just drop, before I I go back to Benji, sorry. Constantine, you're saying that Tottenham have a better squad. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. In my own opinion, I don't fully agree. Now, that's my opinion. Yeah. I'm not saying that.
I said Aston Villa, not squad, but I'd say starting 11. I would take
that's what I mean.
Starting 11, which is embarrassing. It's embarrassing to say that because Ollie Watkins, striker, is the focal point of the team.
Okay, wait. Let's go toe.
You also have to understand one thing though. They have experience which we lack. That does
exactly.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
You may have all the talent in the world. 100%. You might be super talented.
That was my second point.
No experience, no leadership. and an absolute loser mentality of coach,
100%.
that means your team is definitely not better.
But because if you look at Aston
Talent,
Villa,
don't get talent twisted with a good
there's no
team.
kids.
Do not
There's
get
no kids in
talent
Aston Villa.
twisted with a great team.
One
No,
second,
guys,
one second,
guys,
just
can we
quickly.
just pause? Can we just pause? Can we just pause? Do y'all understand that Aston Villa, experience, these guys was like in the bottom 5th.
This is
year.
exactly what I was going to say.
No,
I want to ask a quick question.
And now they have a
I want to
great
ask a quick
coach.
question.
Wait. Let me just make my point. Can we be serious, please? Can we be serious? Aston Villa, old experience. Ollie Watkins just came like last year. What type? What
He's
type
been there for
of
like 3 years
experience?
now.
No.
Wait,
So
what type of experience does he have? Like,
just quickly.
come on. Like, I get we have a young team, but I said it consistently again. You don't need the biggest team. Like, you can look at so many teams. Leicester, they didn't have experience, but they had players who had quality. They had a manager who had plans and a structure, and we played like this. They
But for
had
Leicester,
a
that was just
blueprint.
anomaly. Yeah, I don't think you can take Leicester.
Okay. So just to come back to the point where Constantine said that he'll have Aston Villa's starting 11. Did you say the same thing when Aston Villa was 16th last season? At one point when Steven Gerrard got sacked.
No, but I think for Steven Gerrard, I think you have to take into account how bad he is. So literally, you can.
So this is what I'm trying to get to, Constantine. You've just nailed what you just said. It's the manager.
Yeah.
No, but even on paper, to be honest, I would take Leon Bailey and Diaby over Mudryk and Madueke. I would take Watkins over Broja and Jackson.
But Mudryk and Madueke are starting.
Of course.
I would take Thiago Carlos and Consta over Badishu and Disasi. Probably right back.
Yeah, but Badishu and Disasi are bench players.
I'll take Reece James.
Constantine, I think
I'll take the goalkeeper.
Hold on, guys.
Constantine,
I just want to say something. Constantine, do you remember just before Frank Lampard got sacked and Thomas Tuchel came in? Do you remember how many people were downplaying Rudiger, Jorginho, Kovacic, N'Golo Kante, and many more? Kai Havertz, Timo Werner.
But at least
and Tuchel came in and won.
At least with the bulk of that squad, we actually achieved something. Like we've got Europa League and we've got top 4, so we still like a base level.
No,
I think you're downplaying managers a lot, man. You're downplaying managers a lot.
Just pause. We're talking on each other. Let him talk, man. Let him talk.
Go on.
Constantine, the players you're saying you would take over, the Chelsea players you would take over from Aston Villa players, the ones you're naming are the players who are not supposed to start when everyone's fit. When everyone's fit, the centre back is Wesley Fofana and Thiago Silva. The right back is Reece James. The left back is Ben Chilwell. Yeah, you're not taking any Aston Villa player above all the 4 players I just mentioned.
Okay,
Can I add something? Actually,
yeah, go ahead, brother.
So let's say we combine Aston Villa and Chelsea together. What is Unai Emery gonna pick as his players? I will tell you right now, most of our players are gonna be on the bench because they're gonna be slowly integrated into the Aston Villa team when they actually reach their potential. So that's where the big difference comes. Unai Emery would not play most of these Chelsea players that we have right now. He would go for the most
players, bro? Which players?
Which one of our center backs are better? Aside from hype, which one of our center backs are better? Exclude Thiago.
I would say Wesley Fofana when he was.
I like
Fofana has a lot of players that are available right now.
Fofana has one season.
I'm sorry, that was my question. I said a fit starting. That was the origin of the question. Our fit and available starting 11. That was the question I asked. And when I mean fit and starting 11, like I don't know who spoke. Reece James is the right back, ideally. Are you not gonna pick Reece James over the right back of Villa right now? Thiago Silva.
That's just one position.
Okay, just hold on.
Reece James is not fit right now.
Or let's even say Wesley Fofana.
No.
Now, let's say
Lads,
if
honestly,
then
I'm just gonna absolutely smash this debate now. I'll tell you this straight up. Aston Villa in about 12 months when Unai Emery is not around, I'm telling you, these players, we're not talking about them ever again. I'll tell you right now. No one will be talking about these players ever again. No one will be wanting any of these players in their squad. I'll tell you straight.
Nobody would want the Chelsea players either, though. Is like if we were to sell these players, like nobody would What
we still were able to get rid of Mason Mount when no one liked him at our football club. We still were able to get rid of Kai Havertz. I'm telling you, you're thinking Enzo Fernandez doesn't have a market. I'm telling you, top clubs will be coming for Enzo Fernandez. Top clubs will be coming for Caicedo. No, I don't think so. I will absolutely tell you it will not be a big loss. I'll tell you why. Because he's got a long-term contract. The amortization is based on a long-term contract.
No, but I mean, in terms of the value of the transfer, I would say probably even now in the summer, if this were Enzo, probably 70 million max. We won't even get the 100 million.
I do agree with that. Teams are not going to pay what we paid for Enzo Fernandez. That's for sure.
Yeah, but we won't be selling him.
We won't be selling him. We won't be selling him. He's not up for sale anyway. He's not up for sale.
I think his dad said, however, if you pay attention to what his father said, he said that he is growing frustrated. He is frustrated right now. Imagine in another year, another third year, he's here, and we still continue down this road. What do you think is going to happen if he's already frustrated?
Another football club better pay them money. That we believe he's worth.
All right,
let me make one thing clear. Take aside Chelsea Football Club's stupidity at the moment that we're seeing right now. This is where I'm getting frustrated because some of these players are getting branded as they're nobodies because of the managers lacking, which is so wrong. So wrong. Let me make it very, very clear. Players like Enzo Fernandez, players like Caicedo, some of you guys are actually thinking these guys are nobody. They're not. They have a massive market. These players will be going to another club and they will be balling out and they'll be dunking on us.
It's hard to judge how good they are because we've signed them so early in their careers. So we just have them on a base level at Brighton, a base level at Benfica.
But let me
I'll have to disagree with you on
let's
that
just
one.
Let's just end with this. How many Chelsea players have been in this club that we have not rated, but then maybe and Antonio Conte, Mourinho, Ancelotti, who's more? Titi just came in and flipped the whole squad, and now we rated them. I did not rate Rudiger for one bit under Frank Lampard, but somehow this guy became a beast. And if he didn't run out of contract, this guy would have been the first 100 million defender from our football club, and I can guarantee you that.
100 million.
Jorginho went from a 30 million player to a Ballon d'Or contender, costing 50 million. So you guys can't tell me, y'all can't tell me that, Enzo Fernandez this, Enzo Fernandez that. I get your point. Trust me, I do. But at the same time, if you bring a quality we've said it so many times, bring us the quality manager. Give these players a chance to have a structure, to perform at the top level, the highest level, and you will see what Enzo Fernandez can produce. You will see what Caicedo can produce. You will see, maybe not Mudryk, but you will see Palmer becoming just becoming another type of player. You will see Nicholas Jackson put in more goals.
Let me ask one more question because I'm very intrigued because Constantine's actually put up a nice counter proposition over here, which has created a good show. Constantine, what do you think about that Spurs team under Pochettino? By the time at their peak, what do you think about that Spurs team under Pochettino? Do you rate that team?
I rated that team, but I think it has to be taken into context of how the Premier League was at the time. So I believe when Poch was hitting his heights, Pep was only in his first season, or maybe it was Pellegrini.
No, but pound for pound, what do you think about that team? Don't worry. See, you're talking in a sense where you're kind of disregarding a manager, but then you're also bringing it back to the manager. It's one or the other. Do you rate managers or you don't rate managers? But taking managers aside, talk to me about the team because you're more focused on the team. You're more focused on the quality of the team. Tell me about that Spurs peak under Poch. Did you rate that team?
I think I rated it because in hindsight, I think Poch does deserve credit because a lot of those players, even after he's left, the only ones you could really say actually achieved anything or still are achieving something would be Harry Kane and Son. And then the rest kind of
So you rated that team.
Especially Dele Alli.
You rated that team, yeah? Correct?
I rated that team, but yeah.
Okay, so what did that team do? What has that team done?
Nothing.
So is that based on the players or is that based on the manager? Do you think another manager? Do you think another manager probably could have done something with that? With that set of players? No, you don't think so?
No.
You don't think another manager could have come and done something with those at their peak? That was their peak.
But when you say done something, what do you mean? Do you mean to win a Premier League or a Champions League? Because that's
just some sort of silverware, FA Cup, Carling Cup.
This is Spurs you're talking about, though, Miz.
Yeah, that's the thing
bro,
as well.
For a second, take away the Spurs banter BS, bro. I'm talking about a particular person, Constantine, who's telling me or giving me some indication that it's the players that's fundamental and it's not managers. That's the vibe I'm getting from Constantine.
No. For me, or Poch at Chelsea, I think the truth is somewhere in between. So definitely, it's not good. Me, make it clear, I would sack Poch today. I would sack him yesterday. I wouldn't even have him here in the first place. And the fact that we're 10th is unacceptable. But even if we were to get a Mourinho or Simeone or a crazy elite manager, I think...
Now, let's say we don't get any of this. Let's say we get your manager. Who's your manager, Constantine? Who's your manager?
My manager. Ideally, me, just because I'm sentimental and I grew up, I would take Mourinho. But even then, it will be maximum 6th or 5th with the current squad. And the thing is, people need to understand...
So isn't that better than what we're doing right now?
No.
How is it not better? We're 10th.
Chelsea is meant to win big trophies, bro. We're not meant to finish 6th.
Exactly.
So who out there is going to win as the big trophy?
No one.
Right
now?
No
one.
Can I add to it, Miz? Can I add?
Akaka, do you go from 10th to winning the Prem? Are we being serious?
We did under Conte.
No. You go from 10th to 5th to 3rd to challenging, and then you win.
Went from 10th to 1st under Conte.
Okay, no problems. Under Conte. So for Pochettino, if we go out there and buy him a striker, so let's say, for argument's sake, this summer we keep Poch. We get him a striker, we get him a left back, we get him a winger, we get him a midfielder, we get him another CB. We get 5 top quality players. Poch going to win the Premier League. Aka.
No.
Poch going to win the Premier League.
Top 6 at best.
He must or he will.
He must be up there. He must.
That's two different things, though. He must and he will is two different things.
He will. I don't know if he will. I'm gonna say no. But for me, if we get
there you go. You've answered my question, Aka.
But I can't tell you the future in it. But if he gets everything that I think he needs, then you must deliver. That is what I think. I don't know.
But Poch literally had Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar, and done nothing at PSG.
Arsenal this season they must. And they didn't must, like the Easters. They didn't must. So the must thing is bullshit. You either do it or you don't. Look at Liverpool. They're gonna do it eventually. If City don't, take responsibility and do their business. So and even like the brother said, yeah, we went from 10th to winning the Prem. That was Pep's first season in the Prem. Best believe, in Pep came. A couple of years before Conte just came in, we wouldn't won that, Premier League. We wouldn't.
No.
Let's be serious.
Under Conte,
so
we went on was it like a 10 game
13 game streak.
It was like a crazy run. So
the point it was to make it.
Broke that run.
Listen. It was a crazy run, but the the quality of managers wasn't at their peak. That's what I'm saying.
And don't forget Conte. I think.
If you look at 2017, the quality of manager wasn't at their peak. Now you have Klopp. Now you have Unai Emery.
Klopp was there though in 2017.
You even have Gareth
O'Neill.
De Zerbi's rubbish.
That was Klopp's first full season.
I wouldn't say De Zerbi's rubbish.
De Zerbi, she's definitely overrated.
Is so much higher than before.
De Zerbi's won 3 games out of 15 in the Premier League, and people somehow, he'll take over at Chelsea.
Just going back to the left back position.
Listen, we cannot go for another.
Constantine, what do you think about Unai Emery when he was at Arsenal? What do you think about him when he was at Arsenal?
I would say he was always destined to fail because it's so difficult to follow up under Wenger. So whatever manager you got, forget Unai Emery. Whatever manager came in, will be difficult to.
Now you rate him. But now you rate him.
No. I always rate him as a manager.
That's what you just said. You rate Unai Emery now.
Yeah, no, not now. But even at Sevilla, look, he won 3 Europa Leagues in a row. Villarreal, literally, Arsenal sacked him and he beat Villarreal in the semi-final in the Europa League. So I've always rated him.
Why didn't you like him at Arsenal? That's what I'm saying. It wasn't the same person though.
But I think at Arsenal, he was always destined to fail just after Wenger.
So what makes you think De Zerbi is destined to do well at Brighton?
I think destined to do well at Brighton. He's achieved more than Potter, but he's still not. He's gone 3 wins out of 15, and people say,
So what were you expecting with Brighton with the budget? What were you expecting?
I would expect more wins than 3 out of 15.
Yeah, but it's
Bro,
very hard.
you know they're still ahead of us. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's how embarrassing it is for us.
Still,
That's how embarrassing it is for us.
Look, but
So it all
for
comes
me,
full circle,
De Zerbi
and
is
it's
not a bad
embarrassing for
manager.
Chelsea.
I think.
No, he's not a bad manager. He's a good level manager, but he's not an elite manager. How people are saying.
He's not.
He's not elite. No one's saying he's elite.
Said he was elite.
He's
no one
an
said he was
up-and-coming
elite.
good manager, man. I'm telling you.
No.
Yeah, what he's doing in Europe with Brighton, that's not a joke, man. Well, I think he ended up coming first out of Ajax, AK Athens, and Marseille. That's for a Brighton to go toe-to-toe for that level of team. That Brighton should not be competing. Brighton, with the budget that they have, they should not be competing at all. They should be in relegation battle every single season.
It's 3 wins out of 15, not worrying, in the Premier League. That's a scary stat. That's like relegation form, 3 wins out of 15.
That is acceptable for Brighton, though. That is acceptable for Brighton.
For Brighton, it's a different type of club. And Miss said this actually a time ago. If Brighton didn't play Europe, they would be so much better in the league.
Nah, but how much is so much better? Because they're 7th already, so it's not like they'll be top 4 or top 3.
Yeah, you can't expect Brighton to be top 4 with that kind of budget.
Brighton's never top 4.
At least in the Europa League spots.
With how much money we've given them.
Anyway, look, guys, this look, I like an entertainment argument, which is fine, but I think there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that I totally disagree in this conversation, which is fine, which is good. At least we've kept it very amicable. But yeah, for me, some of these shouts, like just because Brighton, he's De Zerbi's been unable to win, 3 out of 16. All of a sudden, De Zerbi's the bad manager. De Zerbi, have a look at the way he plays. Really watch the fact that he's able to get that level of performance with those players. I'm telling you, no other manager is able to do that. I know Graham Potter previously, but he's taken that to a different level. We are just looking at it from a broader perspective that he's not got enough wins, which is true. At the end of the day, it is about winning. But for Brighton, where they are right now in the table, that's a blessing for them. That's a blessing for them.
When you say that De Zerbi took them to a different level, I think Potter finished 9th and De Zerbi took them 7th. So it's only really 2 places in the grand scheme of things.
Qualified for Europe.
No, De Zerbi's playing in Europa League, brother.
Yeah, Europa League.
No, you don't. Oh my!
But it's Brighton.
I can't, bro. I can't.
Just going back to a previous point. Just going back to a previous point about the left backs. Chilwell is on 200k and Cucurella is on 170k per week, and they both have contracts ending in 2028. So get this thing up, getting a new left back out of your head, man. We need a manager who's going to improve these players. We're not signing a new left back when we have 2 left backs combined almost 400k a week. And that goes for so many other positions. That goes on for so many other positions. That's why we need a manager who's going to develop these players.
But then that just goes back to the board and the sporting directors, because even when people put the pressure on Poch, a lot of this discussion has been around Poch and the manager, but it's the directors and the owner and the vision comes from above. Because even when people say,
Chilwell was good enough under Tuchel. Cucurella was player of the year for Brighton, and all of a sudden they're now very bad players.
Yeah, but sometimes players, if they're at player of the year at Brighton, it doesn't mean they'll be the same level at a high pressure club like Chelsea.
Yeah, but Chilwell was a very, very good left back under Tuchel.
He was.
Chilwell was very, very decent at Leicester as well.
Yeah, he
and
was.
The problem is as well.
Who was the manager back then? Brendan Rodgers.
With the owners and the directors, we've spoken a lot about Poch, and we'll say the fans will put pressure on Poch in the home games. If we lose against Wolves, the next game against Wolves, we'll put pressure on Poch. But again, it all comes down to the owners, because even the fans in the stadium, are they going to scream Winstanley out or Lawrence Stewart out? They're going to take Poch or scream at Poch for him to get out. So we'll sack Poch and then get who? In my opinion, even though I want Mourinho, we're not going to get Mourinho. We'll get someone like a Thomas Frank, or we'll get that type of manager, and then it'll just be the same cycle over and over again. So
for someone that has very much connection to the Stamford Bridge crowd already wants Poch out, and they want
Poch out, but
the owners are not the problems.
The owners are definitely the problem. The owners are exactly the problem, because they're the issue. How it stems from. It goes down to hiring one and level Monaco level directors, Brighton level directors, and then hiring a yes man manager, and then that's exactly
all right,
where
guys.
we are.
I've got to go, but I want to add a few things before I go because I'm getting just fed up with Hudge just talking a lot of nonsense non-stop, man. Just starting to annoy me, man. And Hudge, please, also off the back of this, don't spam my DMs. Like, this is why either become a member and have the balls to come in and have a conversation with us, but don't be just throwing comments in the live chat just non-stop. If you really want to have a conversation, come on and have the balls to just have a conversation face to face with all of us. First of all, Arash is saying, thank you so much for the super chat. We are 3 experienced players away from good team, no problems. How'd you saying, so Miz, when Brighton lose, you saying it has nothing to do with De Zerbi's tactical issues, but when we lose, it's always Poch. De Zerbi has clear deficiencies too. I'm not saying De Zerbi is some level of a superstar manager. I've never said that. I think he's an up-and-coming top manager. I think he's got a very good philosophy. I think he's got the fundamentals of football, how he wants to play, down packed. With the level of players that are there at Brighton, let's be honest, these players are not meant to be some supreme players. The way De Zerbi plays the football at Brighton really depends on 1v1 quality. More times they do outplay the opposition. But when it comes to the fundamentals of defending 1v1, there are times where they're making mistakes. That's not on De Zerbi. That's simply on individual players. You're telling me if De Zerbi did the same tactical stuff, which pretty much what Liverpool does anyway. Liverpool plays with a high line. They play with a little bit of openness, but they have better 1v1 players. Liverpool have Konate, Liverpool have Van Dijk. Brighton has Lewis Dunk, and Brighton has whoever else is the other defender. There is a vast difference, but what you need to realize is what De Zerbi gets out of that team. That's the big difference here that I'm talking about. You cannot be sitting there and just saying that De Zerbi's a nobody. De Zerbi goes toe-to-toe with almost every manager in this Premier League, man. And there are times where he gets smacked up, no doubts about that.
Yeah, that's
there
what I
are
was going to
times
say. The thing with
up.
De Zerbi is quite worrying that when they lose, they get smacked, especially Luton 4-0. That shouldn't happen.
No, he's also got a lot of injuries.
But do you think, Constantine, like De Zerbi, with a team far better suited to play 1v1, the way he wants to play, do you think he gets slapped up like that?
But I think...
Because that's what it comes down to.
But I think for Luton, even if you just judge the game on paper, Luton, Brighton, players, player by player, Brighton probably wins every position in the starting 11. So
sure.
So if they lose 4-0, it's down to the manager and how he sets up.
It is down. That loss is down to the manager, no problems. But just on that game, De Zerbi's a nobody.
No. Of course, no.
But you've made the impression that he's a nobody.
No, definitely
that's
not
the
a
impression
nobody.
You've made.
But he had a lot of injuries to deal with this season. And his bench is not as strong.
De Zerbi is not a nobody, but I just don't think he's the...
De Zerbi's made it into the second round of Europa, but that's not big enough for you. Losing to Luton 4-0 is more highlighted. So we're not going to praise him for what he did in Europe.
In his group, it was AEK Athens, Marseille, and then I think somebody Ajax.
Are they not better than Luton?
They're better than Luton, but I think it's just my overall point with De Zerbi, to make it clear. I do rate him as a manager. I think he's a good level manager. He's just not an elite manager. So when people say he'll take over Klopp,
Constantine, you're saying one thing initially, then you're saying something else afterwards. Anyway, we're going to wrap up soon, bro.
Yeah,
Go on, bro.
Let's just wrap up. We're talking about this manager like he ain't on the shortlist for Liverpool, but like, okay, let's just wrap up because it's still, I don't know. So many
Thomas
opinions.
Frank is on the shortlist as well for Liverpool. So is Thomas Frank?
Thomas Frank is a good manager, man. Yeah. Come on, you can't. You can't say a manager is elite or not when they're managing mid-table teams. You got to give them a chance at a big club, and then they will show.
Yeah, but we gave Graham Potter a chance at a big club, but then look what happened.
Yeah, he wasn't the level for an elite manager then.
Okay,
anyway,
guys.
All right, lads. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to do it again, obviously. Members calling. Obviously, these conversations are good, actually. I know sometimes it gets very frustrating, but I think getting different variances in mindset is good. And then we shall see where Chelsea Football Club goes. We've got Wolves coming up next. I'm pretty sure we'll do another members calling before that, if we can squeeze one in. But yeah, thank you to each and every one of you guys for giving. Nearly we've been going on for 2.5 hours. So thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you guys again. And yeah, look, at the end of the day, no hard feelings. Like, obviously, we've got different opinions, but I'm quite fine with every one of you guys. I know sometimes I get a bit annoyed, upset, but that's just the passion that comes out, man. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. All right, Ibrahim, I know you just joined in, brother. I'm about to wrap things up, man. Just give us your final thoughts and we'll wrap up.
Morning, guys. I woke up hoping that Poch would be fired, frankly. That's a wonderful news I was hoping for. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened yet. I will keep an eye on it on the rest of the day. For the rest of the day.
You're too funny, Ibrahim, bro.
No, like, it's trying.
Bank on it.
I wouldn't bank on it either, bro. I don't think it's happening.
I mean, that was embarrassing.
Do you guys know back in the day there used to be it was when Andre Villas-Boas was Chelsea manager.
Oh,
there was a website called Has ADB Been Fired Yet? .com. there was a clock that was going on.
JC brother, are you there? Is JC
I'm
there?
here, man. I've been trying to just say something real quick before I head it out, but yeah,
we're gonna close the show right after this gone, bro.
Yeah, I just want to say we cannot go another season, even for the value of the players that we currently have right now. It's going to be detrimental if we do keep Poch. And like I said, a manager is part of the team. We got to get a different manager in so we can have a much quality of play in our team, to be honest. So with that, Poch cannot stay. Absolutely. I just want to reiterate that and say it one more time. He's got to go. He has to go for the better of our team and our players, our young talent that we have. He needs to go, because what will happen is players like Enzo will lose their value, and it's not because it's going to be them being good players. It's because they're not being utilized correctly. And over time, their value is going to diminish because of that reason alone.
I don't think it's a coincidence that his father came out and made it clear that Enzo wasn't happy at Chelsea.
Thank you. Yep, I said that was the last thing I said before.
See?
Yep. Thank you.
I mean, like, after the game, I looked at some of the comments on Chelsea page, well, our official Facebook page and all that. It's still embarrassing, the level of people who still don't understand how a coach can dictate the mood of the team, their success and whatnot. Everyone seems to be blaming some of our best players, actually, and ignoring the worst. It's embarrassing.
And you cannot forget something. You need to, on young players, you need to instill a mentality. Yep. And we cannot have a loser's mentality like Poch has. We need a manager that can instill confidence and that winning mentality. That's literally the only reason why I would take somebody like Mourinho back, because I know he's a bit past his best. However, he can still instill mentality on these players. And to be honest, I would throw the book at Unai Emery. I've always loved Unai Emery, even on his time at Arsenal. He got very young players the same way as we are right now, technically. But if we get in 4 core players with experience and get Unai Emery in and a striker like Osimhen, for example, he will do wonders. At the very least, he's going to bring Stamford Bridge as a fortress again, how we had under Mourinho and even Antonio Conte, to be honest.
I don't doubt that.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree. You guys are spot on. And I just say, let's just pray.
All right, lads, I'm going to wrap up. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. See ya.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
See you later, guys.
Big up, guys.
Bye.